You're listening to the Wicked Theory Podcast.
We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Broadcasting to you live from the DJ booth at Dormammu's Discoterium. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast.
Yeah!
All right, we're here on the Wicked Theory Podcast. Everyone, welcome. My name's Ed. We come here every week with my friends to chat about all things geeky and, you know, kind of what happened to us this week. I'm here with Brother Bob.
What the fuck are you doing talking?
And my buddy Bill, who's a little incapacitated this week.
Hey, yeah. Hey, what's up? What's going on?
So yeah,
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Bill is feeling a little bit under the weather. So we kind of asked that we switch places this week.
Yeah, I took a nap. Yeah.
Yeah, took a nap.
That's all it took.
It's always a mistake.
I took a nap.
Yep. You should have just slept more last night.
Yeah.
Should have just woke up later.
What?
Yeah, these days taking a nap takes up too much energy.
Wow. Shit. I need a nap from taking a nap is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of how that went. Yeah, so I've been under. I'm in a funk. I took this afternoon nap and it zonked me. I'm like in this weird headspace. I slammed 3 cups of coffee. I'm almost at normal, but I'm a cranky bastard.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
He's cranky for about an hour after he wakes up.
Yeah, and I just roll with it too. It just gives me an excuse to fucking be heartless and mean to friends. You know what I mean?
But you don't have to be. You don't have to. It's not necessary for you to be any more of an asshole.
Well, that's true. That's true for anybody, really. You know.
Yeah.
However much asshole you are, it's probably just enough. Don't add to it. Yeah. All right. So this is episode 79.
Yep, episode 79.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you?
We have a lot to cover this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We got some emails coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, we got a little bit of news and some meanwhiles
News,
going
I
on.
remember that stuff.
And
Meanwhile.
yeah, and if you want to email into the show, all you got to do is send it over to podcast@Wicked Theory. Just make sure you keep them short, to the point. Just want to open a little bit of a discussion.
A little bit of a
No
dialogue.
12-page essays.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll sort a separate email account for manuscripts. If you have submissions, well, we'll let you know when to send them in.
Yeah.
We'll special email address.
Exactly.
That'll be submissions.
And we're also live on Mixlr right now, and we go live on Mixlr every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
We do.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the chat right now. Quadcast Courtney wants Agent Palmer to talk. Unfortunately, he's not on Skype with us right now.
Yeah. We don't do that.
Well, we do it
I
sometimes.
think he's still on one of those plans that he's got to watch his minutes.
That's possible. It's possible. It's long distance. It's a long distance call for him.
Yep.
He's in the Himalayas.
He's on some third world cell provider.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to buy those cards at the bodega.
But hey, I'm glad Courtney came to bat for him. You know.
Yeah.
Let Palmer talk like as if when we're just stuffing him down, like we keep him in a box. He's like the GIMP. We let him out once in a while. But he's not always on. Like he's full-time producer on 7 Day, so that's why he's in the pocket over there, and he can be queued up. Over here he's like
when he feels like it.
He's like intern to the first assistant of the first assistant producer.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to be around all the time. And plus,
So he's the nobody to the nobody to the nobody to the assistant producer, secretary to the assistant producer to the producer.
I feel like I just did that.
Yeah.
bit.
No.
I feel like I just did that bit with less steps.
Yeah. Now, Bill, I'm not
I was
going
just trying to like make it more.
Longer?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Just wanted to extend it a little bit.
Like I said.
Although I'm not going to
I
like
was just trying to make sure in case some people weren't understanding.
Right, because I didn't
Yours.
catch it. Right.
I was,
Yes.
that's why there was the extra steps,
I'm not gonna
Fair
lie.
enough.
We did have Palmer on Skype chatting before we started recording.
Hey, he's in the corner. He's in the tank. He's in the think tank.
I'm not gonna lie, Bill. I think you might have scared him away a little bit.
Why?
You were a little mean.
I wasn't nasty though. I mean, I was crotchety. I was cranky. I'm in a sour mood. Like,
okay.
you know,
Bill, I could say this because we both live on Staten Island. For a Staten Islander, you were not mean. You were not cranky.
For a New York City boy,
but to someone who lives outside of the 5 boroughs.
Oh, they probably think we're evil as it is. They're like, oh, you know, I tried to look. I know a couple people. They were like, well, you know, you guys curse a lot, so they didn't really even give us a shot out of the gate. I'm like, I was trying to curb that, lady. Like, listen, you know.
I remember being at some Boy Scout thing in New Mexico, and some kid gets up and you know, we're talking about, it was like a training course, and we're talking about how to discipline kids and everything like that. Is, you know, if you
so how old are you at this time? You're adult or you're in the?
I'm 15.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's all kids.
No,
in the
I
room.
got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
So and this one like 17-year-old Air Force cadet from Colorado.
Right.
Or no, it was Kentucky. Kentucky. Gets up and says, "Well, let me ask you something. If a kid walked up to you in school and said he was going to kill you, what would happen?" And this Dominic LaRufa, this kid from Brooklyn, just goes, "I'm from New York. That's how we say hi to each other every day."
You know what I mean? I'd be like, all right, whatever. What time?
That doesn't necessarily make someone in New York flinch.
Yeah,
No,
and the kid goes, "Well, I'm from Kentucky, and you get it. That kid would get expelled."
I'd be like, if I was Dominic, I'd be like, yeah, we probably both would. After we had this fight, that would immediately ensue right then and there. It would either be like, you know, you call that kid out, like,
What
are you serious? Like, are you serious or are you fucking around? No, I was just kidding. I was just busting. All right. Otherwise, we're going right now.
Yeah.
Well, like
that's pretty much it.
We're scrapping right here, outside the lunchroom.
Well, because like how many times
Just
someone
threatened
goes,
my life. I mean, you know, I got to do something.
"Hey, look! How many times you know someone by the locker room going, oh, look at this guy, look at this motherfucker,
Like,
come here, you son of a bitch, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
Get out of here, kid.
Get outta
You're
here.
gonna get hurt.
Ah, go fuck yourself, man.
Is this kid for real?
Yeah, the guys you got to be worried of is the ones that go, "Hello, how are you doing today?"
Yeah, he's got like one loose eye. You know what I mean? And he's not quite. He's got maybe a little twitch. You know.
Have a nice day.
The guy that comes like one hand width away from your face goes, "I don't like you."
Yeah. You know, it isn't. It's
But
not
he's
the
super polite about it.
Well, that's what I mean. It's not the direct crazy threat that you think you have to worry about out
Right.
here. It's the creepy, weird fucking thing that doesn't feel quite right.
TV exaggerates more than the New York accent.
Yeah, well, we exaggerate a lot
Yeah.
too. I've said it before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we do.
I really wonder if sometimes these small things that we do as a goof, sometimes with a New York accent, people think like they don't catch it
the
because
irony?
because it's like it's so subtle between us at the table.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, whatever, fucking forget about it. That someone over the airwaves thinks that's just me literally saying that, and that's me in
being
my
serious,
regular
right.
accent. Like, you know what I mean? And meanwhile, like, I try hard not to use that ever,
Yeah.
like in a legitimate way. Like, I say that to make fun of it because I hate that fucking phrase and the movie, but
Yeah.
But I digress.
We have a Patreon.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
What's it up to, Bill?
It's hovering. It's hovering.
It's hovering.
Where is it hovering?
Like a sexy little like hummingbird. I was gonna say sunningbird. What the fuck?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, this is good. I like it.
got
I
you.
like it when you're taking a lead, especially today.
I'm getting back into old habits.
I like it. It's a switch up. I like it. Yeah. So we're up to 69 buckaroos.
Something about that number. I think we've been there for a couple of weeks. Let's come on. Someone
mean-
throw in a couple bucks. Just move the needle.
a 69 is good.
Yeah.
But you can't do it forever because you get a kink in your neck.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like, all right, it's all over my face now. Can we just maybe move on to the next thing? But am I talking about something else?
I mean, very rarely no, there's no way I could say that without rancid.
You know, if you go too long like that, skin starts growing together.
Yeah.
that happens too. You can't stay down there that long.
Right, no.
So, but in all seriousness, folks, the Patreon is up to $69. You know, hey, if we get it to 75, we open up the door on the whole roast of Bill.
$6 more bucks, people. Someone's just got to buy a mug.
Basically, it's
It's less than that, but just someone decides they want to be a fan and
You
buy
know,
the mug.
maybe
That'll
two
definitely
people,
put us-
and maybe 3 people. They come in for
Right.
low amounts. It's just another $6.
What's $3?
What's $3? You get
well,
you open up the door there. You get regular fully exclusive episodes at $3. Adjusted $1.
There you
You
go.
get the after show in
Right.
case you miss it
All right,
live.
so we need $6, so we just need 2 people.
Yeah.
To come in at $3.
2 people come at $3.
So
I'll
they-
take 6 people at $1 each.
2 people who decide that they like us enough that they want to hear more, and they want to get on the ground floor of the special stuff.
There you go.
There you go.
That's all you gotta do, folks. And then you can hear me get lambasted by friends and family.
Yeah, the roast.
Oh boy.
I wonder who
boy.
who do we bring back for that?
I'm thinking that. Well, the thought on that loosely was that we. Maybe it's the thing where I cast a wide net
Yeah.
to make sure. Well, just to make sure that I pull in enough, because some people might be like, oh no, it sounds like really like.
It would be nice to get like 10 people in.
Yeah.
Total.
I would like to at least see some of your extended family in there. Get some of the other
Extended family?
Get some of the other Sweeney brothers.
Oh well, the door is open. The door will definitely be open for them right out of the way. We'll get them all back here for that. And past guests basically. I think the issue becomes, if anything, if a couple of people have to come over Skype, scheduling that and making sure that's going to work. And also, too, it's a headphones issue. If I have a bunch of people here, not everybody will be able to hear it. So it'll be like the 3 or 4 people laughing. So that's a bit of a thing. But I think basically what we'll do is we'll open up the door to past guests and a couple of crazy people that we know on the fringe that might
Got to try and
be
maybe
able to.
get the people like Ed Heavey.
Yeah,
from
well,
the
past guests,
Outsiders,
sure.
Right.
Sacco. Sacco would do it in a heartbeat.
And
Professor Political, maybe.
Sure, absolutely. Past
Yeah,
guests.
and it doesn't have to be live. Maybe we record some without you knowing and play them live for you.
I mean, that would be an interesting thing to have it be like, hey, couldn't make it down to New York City this week, Jim, but when it's always some remote recorded.
See,
Right.
this is the greatest way to plan a podcast, guys, on the air.
Like David Hasselhoff coming in here from California.
Right. We don't even. Are we stretching already? Are we like, let's talk about this for 10 minutes? All right, good point, Ed. All right, so that's on the fly producing right there. There you go.
Yep.
Let's pull it back. So check us out on patreon.com/Wicked Theory, one word. And then that's that. I think that really wraps up the upfront stuff that we call the official business section. Brings us over to another section that we do.
Hold on.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
This is where we talk about
There we go.
what we've seen during the week, kind of things that tickle our fancy.
Bob, what I appreciate is that you roll in that big harpsichord just to do
just
that
that,
one thing,
yeah.
and then like later on, it's we have to wheel it back and all.
Just so you know, it's not on wheels.
Oh. I'll get you those sliding discs. I'll try to help you out. I'll get something. I'll break open the budget there, and I'll get you some movie.
Yeah, you're going to be up late tonight after that nap, so you can look for the infomercial.
You know what I'll do? I'll get that big stupid strap that we both wear. To move
That
the giant
mover strap.
refrigerators. And I'll resist the urge to play it as we're moving it too. But yeah, so the meanwhile section, that's where we kind of cover some of the things that went on this week that we watched, that we consumed, things we will be doing. Right here, I'll let it be known that we are doing Doctor Strange. We are doing some Doctor Strange review.
Yes.
A little bit later in the episode. We'll do it after the news.
Hold it back. Are we going to do some spoiler detail? Maybe just a little bit.
I think we're going to play it loose. I think we're going to see maybe how many people end up in the chat room.
It's going to have had its big weekend by the time people hear this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I wrestle with is the chat room now as a function of the show. So it's a thing where we it's like I don't want to chase anybody out of the room.
Well, you know
what I mean?
Why don't we
it's-
throw up? We have some people in the chat room right now. Why don't we just throw it out there? put it in the chat right now. Tell us whether or not you saw Doctor Strange and whether or not you want to hear spoilers on it.
Well, well, that's what I was going to say. Is when we come up to it, maybe we reevaluate it then.
Yeah.
And see how many people are actually in the chat room. Because if it's not many, it'll just be like, well, if you two want to leave.
Yeah.
If there's only 2 people in this, well, and if you guys want to go, you can go. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when we come up against it. But well, who's in the chat room? Let's see who's in the chat room real quick.
We got Agent Palmer.
Agent Palmer.
Yeah, we got Quadcast Courtney.
Can we just refer to Agent Palmer as Old Faithful?
Yeah.
Old Yeller.
Well, AP maybe.
Okay, no, that's true. That's true. He is AP.
We picked up an Elsewhere.
Oh, hey, what's up, Elsie?
Hey,
AP standing for Amish Pennsylvanian, by the way.
That is true.
Elsie.
That is true.
You have no idea what Elsie means, do you?
Well, to a lot of people, it probably means a lot of different things.
Oh, okay.
I hear Elsie, I think of actually not who you're thinking of.
No.
According to a couple of my ex-girlfriends, it's lazy cocksucker.
Okay.
Well, anyone who does like high school or community theater,
That's all I need to know.
the end of the show, they do the Elsie Awards.
Okay.
They do like gag awards, and
Okay,
whoever wins
okay.
has to chug a glass of milk.
Oh, that's
'Cause
always good.
Elsie the cow.
Gotcha. Well, that's always good.
Sounds moving.
I thought it was something like it started with like, okay, what else can we do to fill time?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do gag awards. Let's do a shtick.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of thing. I believe we were doing a show at some
Yes,
point.
we are. We're doing Meanwhiles.
Yes, that's the segment. So
Who do you want to kick it off?
we'll talk about Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
She's a crazy girl who's got long dark hair. That's how the song went, right?
Sure.
The show,
Yeah.
from back in the day. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but the trailer came out, man. Another trailer came out, and does this thing just keep looking fucking better or what?
It does.
I think
I'm digging those drum
I want
beats,
you-
man.
do you remember
It's
what
those
you-
drums, man? That dum, 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 dum.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what you said to me the other day?
What specifically?
It was like the way you said it. You were like, "Is this it? Is this?
Oh,
Is this gonna be the one?"
This is gonna be it, man. Right?
This is the one?
This is the one.
This is the one, right?
This is where they finally like crack the code.
This is the-
It's like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be like
I'm not gonna regret buying a ticket, right?
yeah. But like I'm not gonna come out like defeated and depressed.
I'm not gonna cry, right? I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be upset, am I? I'm like, I you just can't tell anymore.
Like after seeing that movie, I could stop going to Marvel movies and walking out angry.
Right,
Because of how
right.
good those were.
right. Just be like,
Well,
jealous.
that's so people understand you're angry because
fair
you
enough.
enjoyed yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
very way
yeah,
good. Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
true, totally true.
Yeah. Right.
I had too much of a good time.
Yeah. God damn it.
There is such a thing as too much of a good time. And it's basically anytime a nerd gets exactly what he wants in a property, or in an entertainment. But yeah,
Especially when it's not as on in his preferred fan base.
well, there you go. I think what it is, it's like anytime you've really been waiting for something. I can see anybody really getting hyped up.
They're going all out on the mythology. You see,
Yeah.
you see Themyscira, you see the Amazons. and-
Yeah,
and all
I saw
that.
the mascara.
Yeah.
I saw the mascara. There was a lot of mascara. I
Yeah.
thought. I'm wondering why she's the only one on the island with an accent. Can I just start that? Can I just start the picking right now?
Sure.
Okay. Because I think they're just having her talk as she normally talks.
Yeah, she's Israeli.
Because she's Israeli, and it gives a different kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And why have her try to stuff it down? I guess But
Right. Well,
but meanwhile, everybody
she's
else.
also not the greatest emoter.
Well, that's what I mean. We're playing it to
we're playing
keep
to
it
her strengths,
easy
you
in
know?
a sense. Yeah.
Kind of
yeah.
why they made Tony Danza's character on Taxi Tony.
And from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We're keeping it as easy as we can, T-Bird.
Right.
So, well, that's what that's kind of obviously what's going on. But the thing is that I found it was a contrast on the second time around, the second time watching the trailer, because I picked up that like basically mom, like her mom and like everybody else on Lady Warrior Island, basically just sounds like they're British or exceedingly non-regional. Like, so it was like, maybe she went away for like summer school or something for a little while. Like she picked up like this
Maybe it's a speech impediment.
because I felt like
Yeah.
first thing I noticed is like she's the only one who looks remotely Greek because she's the only one with dark hair that we saw. Granted, we didn't see a lot of like the backgroundy characters on the island yet. Obviously, we only saw like 2, maybe 3 principals.
You
in
saw
quick
like
shots.
Hippolyta
Yeah.
and Robin Wright.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I always thought of it as a place where it was like kind of like gorgeous Greek style
yeah, that's
women.
what I mean. Greek.
Right. So
Yeah.
you would think you would have more dark haired women.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you know what I mean? And but I'm just nitpicking. It's only been a trailer. I'm sure I'll just get used to it in a moment.
Yeah, and as far as the British accent, isn't that like just the go-to if it's foreign and majestic?
Yes, that's verbal majesticness. That's just how we always, as Americans, we're so easily impressed by that.
Every movie set in ancient Rome, somehow they all have British accents.
If you get a guy with an English accent and he takes his time to say a basic sentence, the gravitas goes up by 117%. Like, it just becomes amazing. It doesn't matter if he's reading off Smurf dialogue. You know, if you had Anthony Hopkins doing Papa Smurf, I might have a heart attack.
Did you excuse me for a second? just need to scold Palmer here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's
who's admonishing us.
Well, fair enough.
Because evidently Quadcast Courtney has just made a pledge to the Patreon.
Well,
and he mentioned it in the chat, and Palmer's saying that it's taking us too long to recognize that.
Could I get a direct quote of that? Could we go back to the minutes, please?
Yeah. Okay. So there I made a pledge. That was Quadcast Courtney.
Courtney,
I made a Patreon
thank you very
pledge.
much. Thank you very much.
Palmer,
We'll get back to you in a second.
Podcast.
Well done, Courtney.
Okay.
They'll thank you when they notice the chat.
Okay.
So for now, thank you. Parentheses on their behalf.
Okay. And then how much has it elapsed time?
It was 2 minutes from the.
And then
2 minutes.
Excuse me
doing a show,
for letting.
Well, in his defense, he got indignant after that.
Yeah.
Then what did he say?
No. No, he waited 2 minutes after Courtney posted that to post his comment.
Oh well, he's trying.
Yeah.
Should we put up?
I thought you made it seem to me like he might have been like,
Come on,
guys!
Yeah.
Like, let's get on the ball here.
That was the way I took it.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me for letting the conversation flow, and then maybe letting us get to a good break point where we could talk about it.
Well, now you've started.
I thought we were getting ready to put up the help wanted ad for a new slave boy.
No, well, no, I wouldn't do that.
No.
I think if anything, that's why I wanted to get to the root of it.
Yeah.
The accusation you were presenting versus what happened. And I'll try to make a fair and impartial judgment.
Okay.
I would say what's most important in all of this is that Courtney was cool enough to fucking drop a few fucking beans on us.
Yes.
Courtney, thanks a lot for the support. We really appreciate it.
We got to ask Courtney, was it enough for us to start writing the?
Let's not pressure him.
Right. Well, I mean, I would be surprised if anybody went so bold as to be like, let me be the guy that puts it over the top. Like, you know what I mean? But we'll check it out and we'll see where we lie in a couple
maybe we
minutes.
could do a little announcement here.
We definitely could. We'll check it. We'll check it.
But Wonder Woman was good.
So Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. That's got me psyched. It continues to have just a high excitement level for that. Just a high excitement level for that. It continues to look really good. I am wondering, though, I was talking to you about it, and I said it's still, it looks like they've mastered the Snyder appeal and look and
the
touch.
aesthetic.
Yeah.
The aesthetic in a way that, like, maybe Snyder's not really.
Yeah. I mean, like
he's overdoing it maybe or something, and somebody else doing it dials it back a little bit and finds a happy medium.
It's also like, because this is set in World War I, every World War I movie I've seen has like that sheen of olive green over it anyway. So it kind of makes sense to have like the smoke everywhere and the trench warfare.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It does all look like Seattle.
But that
all
just
the
means
time.
when we see her in that costume and we see that lasso come out, it's going to pop.
And maybe that's why it seems kind of like out of place. Maybe it's like because it's bright, it's a little high contrast. But so that looks good, and we don't have a month really on that, do we? Well, I mean, not off the top of our head, but
it's coming out this summer.
Next summer. Okay, that's cool. And then other than that, Ed, you watched a few shows this week.
Yes,
New
I
shows
have.
You want to talk about? You got in here. You got Dirk Gently.
Yeah, we have a triple whammy of quirky comedies coming out.
Oh, hey! It's our fall lineup. It's a quirky quad fest of quirky comedies in a quad formation.
By the way, June 2nd, 2017 is Wonder Woman's release date. But we have Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency on BBC America, People of Earth on TBS, and Stand Against Evil on IFC. All really different, all very, very strange stories. but very funny.
Yeah, I've seen the commercials for Dirk Gently.
Yeah, and it's based on the Douglas Adams books. He also wrote the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books. And it is about this detective who doesn't really believe in finding clues or doing forensic evidence gathering, that kind of thing. He believes in the interconnectedness of the universe.
Dig it, man.
Yeah,
I dig it.
And that eventually the universe will lead him to the solution to the problem.
All right. So this is played up for quirk and comedy and
Yes.
this whole offbeat tone. And,
And
All right.
Elijah Wood plays this hotel bellhop.
Well, we know he likes weird.
Yeah, who gets strung into being Dirk's assistant.
Okay.
And it's just really just oddball stuff, and it's the first.
It's like he's the grounded one.
Yeah, but it's the first adaptation of Douglas Adams' books that really nails that tone.
Okay.
That gets that absurdist.
It's hard to pin down. It's hard to pin down.
Yeah, and it is.
Hitchhiker's Guide is not a thing that I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of that book is the narration.
That's what I mean. So it's like, how do you really, like, yeah, you can make all the scenes and all the moments and all those elements and all, but how do you capture that in a tone visually and all that? So it's a hard thing to do to make it feel right.
Yeah.
But, so this is on Sci-Fi Channel?
No, it's on BBC America.
BBC America. Okay.
And it's actually it's starting. They show Saturday nights at 8:00. So DVR it.
Okay.
And you can watch it after listening to the Wicked Theory podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. It's competition is what you're saying. You're fuck, Ed, you were doing so good.
Sorry. Full disclosure here.
Recommending The Enemy.
But it's good. It's good.
All right.
It's good. Also, People of Earth, which is Wyatt Cenac, plays a really top-notch reporter who just on a lark decides to investigate this group of people who have a support group for people who have been abducted by aliens.
Okay.
And
this one looks weird too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the course of his reporting, he actually is abducted by aliens. And it's just I can't describe this show to you. You just have to watch it. It's just odd. But
well, that's what happens with a lot of the quirky stuff. Is
Yeah.
it's hard to really pin down in a description. It doesn't make it sound just like you know what's going on.
And Wyatt Cenac is, if anyone knows his comedy, his stand-up, he's a very, very dry comic.
Yeah. He comes from an odd place as it is.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that even though he's experienced this, he still doesn't really believe it happened.
Okay. He's in denial still.
Yeah, but also the aliens.
It's like, fuck that. No, I got you.
But the aliens in this are hysterical because they're just like, they're like the guys who you work at the warehouse with.
I got you. They're working class Joes.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
All right. And their day consists of snatching people up.
Yeah, studying them and then throwing them away.
Throwing them back out.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, and it's like, he's awake. He's awake. You see what you did? Right. He's looking right at me now.
All because you didn't do whatever XYZ.
Yeah.
Like, you know, right.
Yeah, and
It's a little bit of a workplace.
Yeah, you didn't put enough of the knockout drug in his
exactly.
in his food, and now he's awake.
Way to go, Gorlak. Or whatever his name is.
Yeah, it's like that in the commercial. It's like, oh yeah, I think I gotta watch that.
All right, cool. And then what's this other one?
Stand Against Evil.
Okay, you mentioned this.
Yes. It's starring John C. McGinley.
Right.
As a sheriff.
People would know from what?
Scrubs.
Right,
and,
okay.
he was also in a he was a character actor in a bunch of Oliver Stone movies. He was in Platoon. He was in Wall Street.
Well, he's definitely one of those guys. And when he came to Scrubs, it's like, oh, here's a guy I've known for years. So, but back to Stan.
Yeah, but he plays the sheriff in this town in New England, where this group of demons are committed to killing the sheriff.
Okay.
And he's actually the retired sheriff, but they're still coming after him, and the new chick who replaced him. But it's just a quirky movie. It's all practical effects. Which is fun, but it's created by Dana Gould. Who was a great stand-up, and he was a writer for The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And just his sensibility.
He's a nut.
Yes.
He's a nut. Like, if you don't really know, but maybe if people actually watch The Walking Dead, The Talking Dead.
Yeah, he was on Talking Dead
last week on them. So if they need to put a face to the name.
Right. He was one of those writers who was involved in The Simpsons at a point when they were kind of a little out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's definitely one of those.
They were getting their mojo back. It was one of those periods.
Yeah, it's one of those notable kind of periods too. Like if for the super fans, where it's like, oh, there's a few different where different people behind the scenes came and went.
Dana Gould,
right,
those
exactly.
kind of things.
Yep.
But there's the references that they drop in this show.
Okay.
Like, he just can't help himself.
Dana Gould.
Like all of a sudden they're being attacked by this goat demon in the second episode.
Okay.
And John C. McGinley just grabs the shotgun and turns to his daughter. We're under siege, like Michael Caine in Zulu.
Zulu. Just reference movies that may I know it's a real movie, but just may or may not even be real movies.
And it's
that's funny.
It has tones of Ash versus Evil Dead, but it's not that show.
Right.
And parts of it I really like.
It plays in a similar wheelhouse, is what it is.
I really like it because I like Dana Gould and his podcast. Yeah, which he only releases like one episode every like 2 months.
Everyone ever.
Yeah, but they're 3 hours long and they're incredible.
Fair enough. Is it like an assemblage? Like when he finally puts it out, it's like it's like pieces from different this guy was over one day. We did some stuff.
Well,
and
he'll
then
have
another segment.
He'll have like 3 or 4 different groups of interviews on a theme.
That's right.
And they'll just weave them together.
Okay, well that's cool. Because 3 hours is could be a run.
And like
so
in the middle,
mix it up.
in the middle, he'll do. It's almost like he's reading this prose article about like the making of the Twilight Zone or Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. But, Stand Against Evil, People of Earth, and Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. If you're in for quirky comedy, check any of those out, and you will be thoroughly impressed.
There you go. I got to get back up to date. Are you up to date on the creepy show on Sci-Fi?
Channel Zero?
Channel Zero?
I'm an episode behind.
Okay, so I am stuck because I was using their on-demand at the time, and when I watched episode 1, they had 2 episodes up, and now I go in there, and it's like they pulled the dick move, and it's episode 1 and episode 3.
Oh,
So I don't know if that's a glitch, and if I go back, maybe episode 2 will pop up, so... That's not... I mean, obviously, I could have found it elsewhere. I think if I go to the site, no problem. But I got to catch up. Grant Markham is, like, freaking out in the chat room about it. Like, he's just, in love with it. Which, I'm glad that it's landing. It's landing for you.
It is an odd show.
Right. Okay. Good. It's keeping it's nailing the. Yeah. Okay. Cool. No. That's my hope. I mean, I really feel like I'm missing the ball on that. I like that, and like I've said before, that and Westworld were the two for this fall season I had the most hope for.
And Westworld's good.
Westworld is insane.
We watched that last episode together.
You should be watching Westworld, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's J.J. Abrams is involved. It's Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother. They always work together on all their movies and stuff.
Right.
But
I know the names.
It's very it's very in the house of Lost, where it's mystery kind of thing. They're not doling out all the info. It's like what is going on and who is who. Wait a minute.
Right. So how
it's
many episodes have there been so far?
So this week will be number 6 out of 10. 6.
Okay.
So.
All right, I'll start.
I'll give you the HBO go. Make it easy for you. Oops. Yeah, that's all right. That's fitting the tone this week. That's fit.
Yep.
That part right there. That's me. That's been me for the last hour.
Just a quick warning for the news this week. There's a lot of rumors and speculation going around.
None of this may be true, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could all be true.
So should we just call it something else besides news? It's not really news, then.
We'll just call it Fox News. Then
we'll call it Facebook reporting.
Hey, it's fair and balanced, my friend.
No, they stopped. They dropped that. To be honest, they dropped that shit, didn't they?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
No, they didn't. In fact, they added to it.
Fair and balanced. Oh, because it's not fair and balanced.
Oh, no. It's fair, balanced, and unafraid.
Well, that
as long as you believe what Rupert Murdoch believes.
Well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad, right? I mean, they're obviously unafraid. They're very unafraid. They obviously do not give a shit.
Okay,
yeah. So on that note,
yeah. So here's the news of this story.
Yeah. Okay. You slipped this one in. I didn't see this, and I have issues.
You know what? I wasn't. I normally I wouldn't put it in, but there was a dearth of news this week, so I figured
it was a little light.
We got to talk about something.
Sure. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, but what's this first one?
Someone asked Jeremy Renner if he would be willing to do
Laundry for a week?
a Hawkeye series on Netflix.
Gee, I wonder what he might have said to a question like that.
Here's the quote.
Okay.
I don't know the practicality of that, but I always love any of these characters.
Paychecks?
Any of these characters that I play.
Right.
I love to dig into them more.
Yeah.
I never feel like I get enough time with any of the characters I play, and that's one of them. So now Marvel's going to be having a Netflix series starring Hawkeye.
That's not what it says. That's what they want you to hope for.
I mean, that's what all the headlines say, Bill.
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's read on the possibility, like as if it could. Kids, get your hopes up, because what you always wanted was the further adventures of Bow and Arrow Boy. Yeah, like, please.
Yeah. And that's not even a commitment. That's an I think about it. That's
just a rando question, like he got like on a Facebook Live, like that interview with 1,000 people. It's like,
no, he was asked by IGN.
Oh well, credible. At least it's a credible source. But you know how this is. This is a thing I talk about all the time. Is that these guys just get asked questions, and it's like people want to, I mean, I get it. You kind of have to make an article out of it, but then it's like, so many sites jump on it that it becomes like this conversation, and it's like,
it's like, oh my god,
could it happen? And it's like, it's fucking Hawkeye, first of all, but it's like, don't get your hopes up. I'd much rather see him get a movie than some.
Sure, let's see him have to deal with his family getting caught up in his back.
Let's see Hawkeye's version of Taken.
But I don't really know.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's what put me there. You know what I mean?
I don't really know.
Me and Bob just wrote it. We're done. We're done.
Really, that's it.
Marvel, call up. We got a pitch.
I don't know if the Jeremy Renner version of that character really warrants his own solo movie, though. Like, there's a great Hawkeye story, but it would not be the. It would be the.
You want Clint Eastwood and Old Man Hawkeye?
Just imagine Hawkeye saying, "I am a man with very special talents."
Mostly involving a bow and arrow, and that's it.
No,
but they're very special.
I can kick your ass from 1,000 feet away.
As long as I have my bow and arrow.
No, I want the Matt Fraction Hawkeye with Pizza Dog.
Oh, yeah, me too. Oh, don't get me wrong. They missed the boat on finding the interesting, fun angle with Hawkeye. And he's got that personality. Like, they could have went that way. Mm-hmm. He's enough of a left-to-center kind of humor guy with his 8 lines of dialogue total. You know what I mean? But, the whole thing where he's living in an apartment building and he's just trying to kind of get by. It's about like what happens in between Avengers
He buys the apartment
missions.
And then finds out it's owned by Russian mobsters.
Hey, it's similar, I think, to the Garth Ennis Punisher stuff. But, hey, whatever. That's not even an issue.
It's much more charming.
Oh, absolutely. It's fun and charming in a different way. Mm-hmm. Garth Ennis is fun and charming is a very different thing, to say the least. But I mean, that would have been a way to go. But now they made him a family man, which is kind of cool and all and fine and realistic in its own way, and it's a nice switch up reveal thing. But once you start doing the whole "my family's threatened," it feels. Like, is that where you go with that? Like, that's what I mean. Like, now that he's got the family.
That's kind of, once you say that, it's kind of done.
It's almost like that becomes the thing that ends up happening sooner or later. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody in the family, the kid, the wife, someone's going to get snatched up.
Well, the family is such a trope.
Well, that's what I mean. And if they're just side meat, it's not really played like that. If you want to make it like the tone of the Mad Fraction thing. Yeah. But it's the family setup, the family dynamic of being the superhero Avengers guy who comes home, and that's where the quirky kind of slice of life stuff is. That's the juxtaposition. I think that could be done too, I think, in a way. We just haven't seen it. You know what I mean? It's kind of transposing a little bit. You can't do the exact same stories, obviously, but I just mean like that tone. I think you could shoot for it. But do I want that?
I don't know.
No, I know.
No.
But I know that it's a no
Hawkeye
for me.
as Deadpool?
Well, if we had only started at this Hawkeye guy right, maybe, I don't know. I just feel like he's very dry, and unless you do something with him, I can't imagine a Hawkeye series. He's the kind of character you could have pop up in Netflix.
Yeah,
like
that's
crazy.
What I'm saying.
They should.
Like the article on Heroic Hollywood suggests that maybe he'd start doing a guest spot on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know if Jeremy Renner is the kind of guy who's going to do network TV.
I think you would see him on the Netflix shows.
Yes.
Like he'd be
I
hip
was
for
just gonna
that
say.
before the network TV
Yeah.
thing.
I was just
Probably.
going to say, have him do the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
You know, he could just bounce around. They're going to keep changing.
Yeah, and you know what? You could make him specifically become that guy, maybe who does that, who is the tapeworm in a sense, or the tie through for all of it anyway. Make him the guy that pops up on Shield also. But you make that specifically like the new contract, like he's basically like
Actually,
how they should be using Nick Fury. You know how like Nick Fury should be popping up like in a real Marvel world, like he'd be popping up on everybody's show all the time.
Yeah.
But the actor's just too big. You know what I mean?
It's all the same studio. It's all.
Yeah,
it's
it
just,
should. Yeah.
No problem. Should be no problem.
What
Should
if
be
you
no problem.
What if you made him the handler on the Defenders? Like basically their liaison to Shield.
No, because he's Hawkeye. Because he's Hawkeye. It doesn't work for me. But I mean, it works enough with what they've established MCU wise.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
You know, I mean, it works within that. What's been established there. I just feel like overall as a character, it's like not quite what I think you should do with him. But it would work within their framework. I mean, like to make them the handler, so he only pops in and pops out, kind of a thing, or some kind of liaison, or he's the face of Shield in that storyline who shows up with a team of faceless, grunts.
Or like you guys are all good on your own, but we need to teach you how to work together.
Yeah.
Let's bring in this guy.
Well, we've already seen Iron Man basically do that. Tony Stark just went and picked up Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So maybe, and now like we haven't. Tony Stark's not around, so maybe maybe that's what he's kind of doing.
It would be interesting to see like somebody kind of come in, even if it's not him, somebody from, even if it's not a pre-established kind of character in a way, just yet. Maybe it's somebody that they kind of drop in new for the Marvel. You're distracting me, Ed, by being so baffled by whatever you're reading. I can't even finish my thought. So, Ed, where are you?
I'm sorry.
You're in the chat?
No, I was going to wait for you to finish.
But I can't now.
But our friend had a good idea.
Okay.
Which is what if Hawkeye's Netflix series is he's starting the West Coast Avengers?
Yeah. I feel like that's what Defenders is. They're just not on the West Coast.
No.
You know what I mean? Like West Coast Avengers, if you go quirky, weird, goofball-y shit, then yeah. But I mean, otherwise it's third stringers, and it only works in comics. That's
Right.
me.
We're
Anyway.
seeing that now with Legends of Tomorrow.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
So
it's like how far down the
besides,
ladder.
if they're going to be doing Defenders and now they already have the Avengers, it might be a little too much too soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch Great Lakes Avengers. The Great Lakes Avengers are fucking awesome.
I read that #1.
That's
Man.
fun stuff. Flat Man is the man. But
Actually, I'm thinking something else altogether. But Savage Dragon.
there you go. Savage Dragon stuff. But so there's always that route. Hey, look,
Yeah.
West Coast Avengers. They have enough Avengers now coming out of probably Infinity War stuff.
Yeah.
Because as the last Avengers movie ended with some kind of like, is this the new lineup? Like, it's all the new people. So you could divvy up the team and basically get that anyway. East Coast, West Coast teams. But,
So,
yeah, what's next, buddy?
so on from no news to bad news.
So,
So, the Flash movie has lost its director.
again. This is number 2?
Yeah, Rick Famuyiwa has stepped out after working on it for a few months, citing creative differences.
Well, Tim Miller just, he's got some time.
Here's the thing. It's like, I thought you were the director. Like, who... who do you have creative differences with? I know it's a studio, but it's just one of these things where it's like so weird to hear sometimes. It's like, who is the guy who's not in the credits?
Yeah.
Who is the guy that people keep having the creative differences with? It's got to be studio head. Like, it's like it's this funny thing that happens in Hollywood where it's like, oh, these creative differences over the property. So it's like, it's like studio wants to do a certain thing, and then But what I'm saying is like it's an invisible person as far as the credits come down in the end. This guy who doesn't even get a credit ends up dictating so much of what's going to happen here.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is in his statement at the end, he wishes a bunch of people good luck,
but omits somebody.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think it's almost like
the list. The list is like
yeah.
It's like Yeah, good luck,
Yeah,
guys.
I wish Warner Brothers, DC, John Berg, Jeff Johns, and Ezra Miller all the best as they continue their journey into the Speed Force. That's what
Well, that might not. We're New York City boys. We might be overreading into that.
That's, I think,
We might be putting sarcasm onto that. That's not there yet.
But he says that right after he states that he's going to try to continue to tell stories that speak to a fresh generational, topical, and multicultural point of view.
No, you didn't have to read that.
So that's what he's slamming them for.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, basically, I had this really cool story that speaks to all different kinds of people, and I'm not going to be able to tell it.
Nah, that's a little. It's a little bit of like trying to throw a
you
dig.
didn't let me do the movie I wanted to make.
Yeah, it feels a little bit of like trying to throw a dig on the way out.
Sour
Like,
grapes.
my thing would have been socially conscious, and now their thing, they want to go this other direction, which is not. And it's like,
Well, I would feel more comfortable about this if I actually knew what direction the DC movies were heading in.
if I had any faith of any direction.
So far, it's been a bad direction.
Well, that's all we know. Is
Generally.
it's been a questionable.
Yeah.
At the very least, it's been questionable.
Because they're constantly
Plus,
turning.
Suicide Squad wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean that's everybody's got a different of a opinion on all of these movies, just because they haven't been 80% awesome. It's like it's easy to get into arguments about if they're any good at all. What do we got next?
Okay, so we got Rogue One coming out in a couple months.
Yeah. Okay. What do
Yeah.
we? What's up with that?
Yeah. So there's a rumor going around that it might not have a crawl at the beginning of it. The classic crawl.
The text,
Yeah.
the crawling text.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
All right, well.
that works. That's fine with me. It probably shouldn't.
And I
Maybe
think-
it's a side piece.
And there would be a way to separate it from the main saga.
Yeah. That would be a good way to kind of say this is definitely a different kind of thing, even though it's right in the middle of everything. Because what are you going to do? You can't make it. Where would you put it? If you do the crawl, you
Well-
have to give it an episode number. Then
Yeah, I think.
and
all-
then you make it a point, like 6.2, or
Right.
whatever it is.
And we got to remember too that we already know it stars in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, that's pretty much a given.
And
Pretty much, you could just open with that.
Yeah.
Just in a galaxy far, far away,
Yeah,
and then just fade in.
and then
Whatever.
that actually would probably be perfect.
Yeah. Because they do that, right? They put that text up by
That's
itself.
the very in a galaxy far, far away.
Straight and normal,
and then
the tilted yellow text comes. Yeah, so just do that and then roll right into it. Say, that's all you need. You do that with every Star Wars movie. Have that be the opening thing, and then go into your cool shot that we panned down.
Yeah, that would actually. I think that's actually perfect.
Yeah.
You give it a nice homage real quick, and you move on.
I think you do that, and either you do the pan down or the big thing comes into frame. We do one of those two transitions into the first scene, and then that's all you have to do to kind of make it feel like a Star Wars
Maybe
movie.
like a lone flute playing the beginning of the music.
Oh, yeah, I mean, sure.
And then right into the show.
There you go. I like that jazzy version though. It's a little jazzy. I like it. Yeah. Ed, do you have a thought?
No, I think it's a great
Yeah,
idea.
that's fine. Whatever.
We're not allowed to do our own thinking.
Fine,
remember,
fine.
boss?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We got to improve that stuff. What do we got next?
Next up, so Eric Heiserer,
Who?
so basically the guy who was writing the Sandman movie,
There you go. Now I know who you're talking about.
has stepped away.
Yeah.
said-
Well, is it? I didn't realize he was hanging on.
Yeah.
For dear life.
Well,
to
this
that
is
project.
Yeah, this is like the 12th guy who's come off this movie in the last 20 years.
Was this because he thought it was a movie about a man who puts everybody to sleep?
No, he basically went to the DC offices and said, "Yeah, this is really good, but you can't make this a movie.
Nah, just stop.
you can't even do this as a series of movies."
Yeah, this has to
This
be a
is-
TV show.
yeah.
This is some kind of TV or a serialized format. He's right. He's right. We were talking about it yesterday, and I think he's completely right. It's too dense and it's too odd. It's too unique of its own thing to try and make some kind of like big blockbustery thing. You'd have to hit it so perfect to make it a viable
Well, also,
movie in its own way.
yeah,
To make it appealing to a wide
You
audience.
might have to do like a 3-hour movie to,
That's what I mean.
to really explain
And it doesn't have the
enough
back.
story.
And you can get away with that with Lord of the Rings, only because it's Lord of the Rings. Like, if Lord of the Rings wasn't as known as it was, who was watching a 3-hour movie about dwarves and walking around in the grass? Like, nobody would have done that if it didn't already have its own kind of cachet and status. You know what I mean? And Sandman, I mean, it has some, but it just doesn't have that.
Well, and to me, it's such something that it's perfect as a comic. Like, that's
Right.
something
that format,
that
that
is,
medium. Yes.
Yeah, that's what it's built for. And each even if you go trade by trade, the first trade of Sandman is completely different.
Yes.
From the second,
Yes.
which is completely different from the
Yes.
third and fourth.
Yes.
Like, there's no. The only thing that's
Yeah.
consistent is that character.
It's prog rock in a comic book form. Like,
Yeah.
it starts one place and ends someplace completely different. Like you said, every arc has got its very own unique feel to it. Sometimes Sandman's not even in the fucking issues. Like, you know, he's just not even an aspect of it. It's really about storytelling via him sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? It's about, you know, he's the master of dreams, but we're going to follow this woman who's having dreams. And we're going to just learn about Mary's life for a while. And, you know, it's very English in that way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Where it takes its time, too. So it's like, don't get me wrong, as a series, like, I feel like it could be a really masterful thing if it's handled right.
Yeah. But
if it's done right.
I don't even know if you can handle that on even a cable TV budget.
And you know what? And I you mentioned something. You phrased it similarly yesterday when we were talking about it. And my response to that kind of thing was that, like, you know, it's about who you bring in and how much money gets behind it and how they kind of attack it. Because Westworld, Game of Thrones. Like, I'm not saying it could only be done right at HBO, but if you know, these are things that could never have been done anyway. Like, you know, it's like, you know what I mean? The budget alone, or trying to figure out how do you, Game of Thrones is so much talking. Like, you know what I mean? It's not an action show that people think it kind of is.
Yeah,
because it gives you enough of that once in a while, and it's good stuff when it happens.
Well,
it keeps you satiated with that.
Yeah,
like, you know,
but Game of Thrones, most of, you know, probably 9/10 of all the characters are still human beings.
well, fair enough. I'm not saying, hey, we
And-
can't figure out how to make a talking cat.
and
but
all of the sets, you know, have walls.
And I'm not saying what. Well, I mean, it looks like deep space. Like, a lot of times, it's very nebula. Like, there's a lot of astral and cosmic things going on in Sandman.
Yeah, like-
but there's a lot of set pieces too. But there's a lot of
Like
white. There's a lot of, like, emptiness
But
too
that-
that
to me,
happens in
like-
certain
like,
scenes and parts. You can do that.
3/4 of that story takes place in the big set piece at the end of Doctor Strange.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, most of Sandman just resides in that.
Yeah.
You know, that Steve Ditko kind of come to life kind of world.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. You did make some good points with that. Like, you know, it's a lot of set jumping too, where it's like, you know, like, Game of Thrones, they're jumping all around the world, but at least it's Earth. You know, and at least it's modern. It's one time period or something. Like, you know, Sandman is all over the place. So if you do sprawling, like, that's sprawling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm down for it. I would be all over it. If they're gonna do a movie, I still say this: they should just adapt Death, the High Cost of Living. It's a one shot or a miniseries, and it's just about death and she comes to Earth, and every so often she has to live as a human. You know, and her current form, because it shifts over time, I believe, but her current form is very much punk rock kind of a aesthetic, you know, young female. So it's got that going on for it.
I always felt like Neil Gaiman decided to make a character who was reflected the Sandman's fan base.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. It's Tori Amos, you know, at 16 or 17, kind of basically, like, you know what I mean, or in that wheelhouse, in that 1990s pre-grunge wheelhouse, you know. But anyway, TV's the way to go with that. Cable, put lots of money behind it and get a really great creative team on it. That's the only way. Otherwise, it just, I can't imagine it'll ever feel right.
Yep.
Yeah, it can be very hard to follow, so you got to be very careful with something like that.
I feel like, you know, what I said to you too, like last night, like, it's either like you go that route or you try and do something where it's like super minimalist almost, and you find ways to cut corners and get creative on a tight budget, like The Crow or some of these other movies that, like, shouldn't work.
Yeah.
because they had such a small budget, but somehow they pull it off. But that's magic in a bottle that they're like, you get lucky at the back end on that.
Yeah.
Like you come in knowing like, we're not going to be able to do this on $5 million. Like, you know what I mean? And sweating it. And then in the end, it's like, oh shit, we pulled it off. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm at on that. What's next, Chief?
Okay, so back to rumors and speculation.
Rumors!
Anyone know Bret Easton Ellis?
I know the name. Tell me more.
Novelist, wrote Less Than Zero and American Psycho.
Yeah.
He's also dabbled as a screenwriter, has a very interesting podcast, which always starts off with like a 15-minute rant. Not a rant, but a very, very well-written treatise on why movies suck today.
A dissertation?
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of like, well, you know what rhymes with rant? Grant.
Yeah.
Keep going, Grant.
So he was doing an interview recently with The Ringer, and was said that he was at a meeting at Warner Brothers, and ran into some executives who were telling him that Ben Affleck's Batman script has a lot of problems, but they're going to make it anyway and not fix them.
I left the room. What happened?
So this guy said he ran into a bunch.
I had to get more coffee. I'm trying to stay on point.
This guy said he ran into a bunch of Warner Brothers executives who all say that the Ben Affleck script for his solo Batman movie has a lot of problems with it.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not going to fix them because they figure whatever they make, people will buy.
No, there you go. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Yeah, and then a couple days later, he had to tweet out retractions saying that he doesn't know anyone who's working on it and that he doesn't
Like 100% about face on
yeah,
that.
and he regrets saying that to a journalist.
So now he's painting it that he just made it up.
Yeah,
Or he
we
said
should
that's an off the
follow
cuff
that guy
thing.
on Twitter because
Yeah.
in about 2 months he's going to be out of a job.
Yeah, it might paint him in some bad corners over there at the Warner Brothers lot. That's for sure. But I'm not sure how much he was worried about. He's got that paycheck.
well, like, the way he was, it was like third hand. These weren't executives who were working
exactly.
on the project.
No,
this
and I
is stuff
get
that
that.
they were hearing from coworkers.
Yes, right, and I get that. But it's Bret Easton Ellis. He'll be around. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
This wasn't enough to shake him out of the tree. This isn't Mel Gibson level being shunned, but then again, he's back too. So,
All right, so now we get So now
Reboot.
Reboot report.
Reboot report.
You got 2 reboots. So
Dig it,
you ready?
baby. Yeah, what
We're
do we got?
getting a Starship Troopers reboot.
Because we can.
Yes.
But hey, it's
But that's not any good reason, but it's a reason.
Yeah.
And what is this? This is like just announcement level. This is
Yeah, Columbia Pictures. They've hired Mark Swift and Damian Shannon, who who wrote the upcoming Baywatch movie.
okay.
Oh yeah.
That's not
Oh,
enough.
they must be like artists.
Yeah, they
and
must
they're-
have.
Yeah.
And they're looking to relaunch a potential franchise of Starship Troopers movies.
Well, it did feel like a thing that was going to become a thing, and then it didn't.
Well, I think that movie, there's a lot of false advertising with that movie. Like, they made it like it was going to be this, like a space epic, like a big war movie.
Oh, but it's Verhoeven's.
And it's not.
No, it's Verhoeven's like, and also too, I think it follows the book like that too. Though the book is not quite.
Oh no, the book is like all out satire. It's
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't, I know that the book doesn't really land like the movie does, but I just always wondered exactly, like, I don't know. The movie was fucking kind of weird in its own way.
yeah.
Like, there is something about the tone and feel of it overall. It feels incredibly plastic, but just like, I don't know if it sold that tone. So it'd be interesting to see what somebody else will do with it now. I mean, time has passed, I guess, and it's not exactly huge enough of a thing where it's like has to be an issue that you're gonna reboot it. Like, I don't think people are gonna be like, well, what about White Teeth McGillicuddy or whatever the freaking kid's name was that was in it, that was hot for like 20 seconds.
I don't even remember.
That kid was the main star in that. I don't even know. Chancellor Chance. I don't know. Let's make up names for him.
Casper
I
Van
don't
Dien.
know.
Casper Van Dien. That's great, Ed. That name is great. That's almost as good as his real name, I bet.
No, that's the guy's name.
Yeah, he's got it up.
I know.
Casper Van Dien and Dina Meyer and Denise Richards.
Oh, Denise Richards. There's somebody who went on
There you
to
go.
do a job afterwards.
Oh yeah. Well, she did a job on Charlie Sheen.
Oh, boy, did she. Tiger blood.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's another reboot.
Starship. Yeah.
This one I think is near and dear to your heart.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. What do we got?
You're a big 80s cartoons guy, right?
A little bit.
So,
little bit.
Universal has announced they are developing
Oh.
a live action Voltron movie.
I'll form the head. All right. Look, we had what was it? Pacific Rim. Yeah. I mean, we've had some. We've had some giant robot stuff recently. It's working. It's looking good. Special effects nowadays. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why not? I mean,
between Transformers, Pacific Rim.
It's.
I think this is a movie that's been waiting for something, and then they're waiting for something other than Transformers to hit.
Yeah,
and then they'll go with it.
Yeah,
and they thought that was going to be Pacific Rim, and it wasn't.
Yeah, well, this I think what might have shown them a little bit of life is that the Netflix cartoon series might have gotten some traction for them. For the company, for the brand.
Yeah.
So maybe that's rekindled their interest in trying to get it to happen. Yeah. And plus, I think there was that Voltron, the fan film that they sued. They had it taken down, and then they were like, okay, fine, put it back up.
Oh, no, I don't know. I remember there was a Power Rangers fan film a while back.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
It was the last... I thought there was a Voltron one where he's he's the last lion, basically.
There might have been, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was super well done, and they were immediately Saban shut it right down or something.
No, that was Power Rangers.
That was Power Rangers.
Power
Saban?
Rangers. It was done by the guy who directed Torque.
All I figured all my life is that if it's a multicolored thing, it's all the same company. Voltron begets somehow Power Rangers down the line of evolution. That's
well, it's basically it's a tweak on the same theme.
That's what I mean. I just figured it was all in the same company though.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at what Asia did to Spider-Man when they got the license back in the 70s.
Oh yeah, well there's that. You know
what I mean?
They just put him in a big robot.
Yeah,
it's just what they do.
They put a robot in, and it's okay,
all right,
makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense.
But so they're reporting that Universal's hired David Hayter, who wrote the first two Bryan Singer X-Men movies.
Okay.
And actually, he wrote the first two X-Men movies.
Who cares?
And Watchmen.
Right.
I believe he was also the voice of Snake in Metal Gear Solid.
All right. Well, there's that.
Fun facts.
Fun facts from Bob.
Because I know he's also a scriptwriter.
Okay.
And that name is ringing all sorts of bells in my head.
Bill Hader.
Yeah, Bill Hader's the comedian.
Right, okay.
Well, look, I'll IMDib him.
Give him the old IMDib?
Yep.
It's an IMDib investigation.
Actually, you might be right. He does do a lot of voice work.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, does all the middle...
Points, Bob!
All the Metal Gear Solid video games.
Get your points here. Hot points here. Hey, you youngster, would you like a big bag of points?
I'd like my hearing back is what I would like.
Oh, I don't have that in here. Just points. Sorry, sir. Take these points instead. Maybe you'll cash them in one day at the front counter.
So yeah, he's the voice of Snake, Solid Snake.
Quite possibly. I think Ed still did.
No, he said he's all the Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Solid Snake and all the Metal
So he's done this. He's done this guy kind of thing.
The Pack of Marlboro day.
Yeah, at least. Winston's no filter, please. Could you put extra chemicals in there?
Do me a favor, take the filters out of the goddamn things, would you?
They just get in the way. They get between me and the tobacco.
Never mind, I'll just swallow them.
I'll just chew them. I'll just chew all these. The smoke will give away my position.
So that's news.
That's what? Already? Jesus Christ, what time is it? News is done! News is done!
Real quick in the chat, Courtney wants a reco. He wants to rent a movie. Should he get Captain America Winter Soldier or Ant-Man?
Tough call. I'd say if you're looking for... if you're looking to kill time, because Winter Soldier's longer. But no, I'd say if you're looking for something that's more... Winter Soldier's more action and stuff, and Ant-Man is a lot more fun and funny and all around good time.
Yeah. Ant-Man's good old family fun.
Yes, right. and well done at that.
Yes.
So don't let that be a discouraging thing.
Yeah. But Winter Soldier, it's a steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
there's-
meaty thing.
There's a story in there that you gotta pay attention to, you know,
Right.
and it's worth it.
And an
It's-
intermission.
While you're on a
totally
roller
worth
coaster.
Yeah, and you know it needs an intermission.
Yeah.
But
It's like you're going at the top of the roller coaster and you're screaming your lungs out and your friend's
Yeah.
okay.
I-
All right, now I'm going to read to you while you're going,
I would say that if he wants to linearly, he should watch chronologically.
Winter Soldier comes first.
Ant-Man comes first.
No, Winter Soldier comes first.
Oh, Winter Soldier comes first.
Yeah.
Civil War comes after Ant-Man.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Winter Soldier, then Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
down the line, you're in chronological order.
Yeah.
And probably depends on also too, like how much time do you want to spend watching a movie tonight? You know, I would say rent both of them. It's the weekend. You watch one tonight. You watch one tomorrow.
Scarlett Johansson's in Winter Soldier, and I think her Winter Soldier hairdo is her coolest hairdo.
And I'll say,
where it's just like straight down.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. It looks the best. And I will say to Courtney, I think really probably what he should be doing is working on his show. You know, I don't think he's got time right now to be fiddle faddling, you know, filla fluttering with movies,
Okay.
with rentals. 'Cause don't you have to bring that back? Renting a movie? What year is this? You know what I mean?
Maybe he's renting it on iTunes or Amazon.
People do that still.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
they do.
Okay.
Netflix.
In fact, that's like the way most people rent movies.
No,
now.
I know. No one red boxes it anymore.
I actually still see people go up to that.
Oh, yeah.
No, they get some traction. They get some traction.
My parents still
Can be
still
found at
Redbox.
found at a CVS or a pharmacy near you.
Yep.
That's
Yep,
there. That's,
supermarkets still
there you
got
go. But that's the way to go.
And Courtney's going with Winter Soldier. Glad we could help you out.
Hey, if we
Yeah.
were any help at all, we were glad we were
Winter
there.
Soldier is an excellent movie.
And it's really going to be a good ride.
Yeah,
it's a good ride.
absolutely.
Enjoy. We made it just for you.
We made it.
I'm in the credits. I'm in the credits. You can find me.
Get that special thanks.
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't want to say where. I didn't want to ruin the surprise for anybody, but you know, special thanks too.
You know, he does have acting credits, Ed.
I mean, you know, it's not on the IMDb, but
Yeah.
if somebody wants to make that and put that together, feel free. And still, the wiki page, whenever somebody wants to make that happen, just put that back out there. Meow God and Angel Palmer seemed last week to have made some kind of blood pact.
Bill Sweeney served as a Roto-Rooter PA on Captain America: Winter Soldier.
That sounds gay. just saying. I don't know what a Roto-Rooter is, but I have a feeling it's like a Cleveland steamer or a hot Carl, and I'm not doing either. I'm not doing either. Chicago hot plate, one of these things. Not doing any of it.
What was the one on Saul?
I don't know. I forget. I don't know.
A squat cobbler.
There you go.
Squad.
Cobbler.
Yeah, you know, not as crazy as it sounds. Not the crazy thing. It's crazy, but it's just not as.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So there's that. That takes us out of the news. It takes us through the chat room, I think, unless anybody else has got something in the chat before we get into a little strange. We're talking about strange things with the doctor. I wish I knew that was coming.
My name is Dr. Stephen Strange.
No.
No. That was a cool moment, though.
It was when he was getting old.
Yeah.
It was showing his alien teeth. Bang a ding, ding a dunch. Bing a ding a ding a ding a ding a ding ding a ding a ding a ding a do.
So yeah, we all went to see this movie Thursday night together.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we arrived.
You were there, Ed?
I was there.
Yeah.
That's true. He
You
was
were there?
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
a dream. It wasn't a dream, Dorothy.
That means I was there.
Yeah, and and Uncle Jim and the
Right?
Scarecrow. Everybody was there.
Because I think I drove, right?
Yeah, yeah. But Ed met us there, and
Yeah.
we jumped into a 7:30. We didn't watch the 3D nor the IMAX. We watched it in regs, but yeah, should have probably.
But, yeah, probably should have. But with those visuals, yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
should have, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you're ever wondering if a movie is worth spending a couple of extra bucks on, this is like one of the
this
ones.
has probably got to be the one.
Yeah, this is one of the
Yeah.
ones. It's definitely built for it.
Yeah.
So, what do we got going on in that chat room? How many people we got in that chat, Ed? Just one or two?
We have an Elsewhere
We have an elsewhere. It's Courtney and Elsie
and Palmer.
and Palmer.
Can we trade up for a Saint elsewhere?
What was that, Bob?
Can we trade up for Saint elsewhere?
We could. I don't want to run a hospital. So Doctor Strange, where do we start? Let's do this. Let's give a kind of like real quick. I think it's fair to say we all really liked it.
Yeah.
We're giving it all probably positive numbers on this one. Ed, what's the big takeaway? What's your big takeaway from this? What do you feel like coming out of this? What do you? Let me ask something that's a completely left field kind of question for a movie review.
Okay.
I'm asking you what your takeaway is.
What my takeaway is? Well,
which is not what we normally do.
No. I think this is it was a tight movie. It didn't feel like it dragged. The thing I love is they didn't over-explain anything. And the exposition didn't really come until after you'd seen, like, something would happen and it would look amazing. You'd go, oh my God, that's cool. And then, like, 20 minutes later, they would actually explain it and you'd go, oh, that's what that was.
Right. Okay, sure. Right. As opposed to sometimes when they do that,
more old style telling as opposed to
and it's
here's everything.
Right.
It's showing, not telling.
Right,
which was nice.
Well, it's telling later.
Yeah,
but it's in the moment, letting you sit on it a little bit,
and
those explanations. Sometimes in movies, like you'll get that, like they'll kind of set up a thing and then they'll explain it later on, and because of the way they explain it, like you don't make the connection really. It's like, like in a second viewing, you're like, oh, okay, they did break that down. It's
it's always like,
but here it all works,
and you could tell like this is the kind of movie, this is the kind of story where there's going to be a lot of notes from a studio saying, is the audience going to understand this? And I think the way they got around it, they said, yes, the audience will understand it, but to please you, we will put an explanation, but it's going to be afterwards.
Yeah, but here's the thing, too. I feel like the studio demands on Marvel are probably not the same studio notes as they would get if this was like at some other studio. This was like some Marvel had licensed it out and they were still doing production, but if they had to listen to Paramount,
but
whoever,
because at this point
it wouldn't have gotten made. Basically,
Marvel is doing things and bringing people in, saying, okay, this is what we're doing, and you're either on this ride or you're not.
Basically, as
a director, and you're still getting the personalities of different directors in the movies. But the direction is purely, it's definitely already made. Yeah. And you have to be on board with that.
Yeah, let us make it and you market it. Like, you know what I mean? Let us do the heavy lifting here.
And Doctor Strange, that's still a risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I don't know if you could have made this movie on its own at a separate studio without kind of that little bit of cushion from the MCU.
Yeah.
And have as many people buy into it.
I think
you'd end up with a guy running around Manhattan, conjuring up lightning bolts and spears and stuff.
I would say, maybe you could have gotten something during like the Blade years that maybe would have kind of came close. Maybe
it might have been okay.
Maybe maybe had a darker edge to it or something or whatever, but. Marvel played the long haul with these movies and bringing out the second tier, third tier characters now. And with Doctor Strange, he's everyone kind of equates him now in these descriptions over the weekend, a lot of reviews as like, he's a lot like Tony Stark. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, he's not really like Tony Stark. No. Tony Stark has an ego too, but Steve's more of a dick. Like Steve makes jokes that don't land, like, you know what I mean, or just like, aren't funny,
right? Like they're jokes that he knows are funny. They're funny to him,
or they're passingly funny. It's like somebody who makes jokes once in a while, and they say things they don't always make you laugh. Somebody else does that.
It's snark. He's not trying to entertain anyone but himself.
Right. Tony is trying to entertain when he is being goofy or witty.
There's no charm to it.
Yeah.
And the only reason that you don't hate this guy is because whatever he's saying actually happens to be the truth.
Yeah, he's a little harsh with his reality kind of a thing. Like,
that's the thing that's infuriating is that he's such a dick.
Right.
But he's right. God damn it.
That is a thing. So I'll give the spoiler for Courtney. Courtney wants to know if Tony Stark was in it. I have to say no.
No.
Wants to say no.
Can we give a little bit and just say there is an Avenger in it?
You will see an Avenger in it.
Yeah, at some point.
At some point.
But not that Avenger.
Not that Avenger. So there's that.
Are we talking about the Thirsty Avenger?
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
So I think one of the cool things is, because here's the thing with Doctor Strange, obviously, because he's like a dick and he's a little bit of a secondary kind of character, is a little removed, is always, even as a book, it's been a thing, well, how do you keep this guy going? How do you maintain him, kind of a thing. And let's keep in mind, too, like, Tony's personality of being really kind of witty is a new facet. Like, that wasn't always a thing in the comics. It's ever since the movies now that's become...
No, Tony used to be a real dick.
He was just... he was more like Doctor Strange, where he was a little bit straight up, a little bit brash, and the playboy,
For a while,
rich,
he was an
know-it-all.
alcoholic dick.
Yeah, alcoholic jerk, and that level of know-it-all.
Yeah.
And, so to compare him is almost unfair because he's more like the real Tony, or the original Tony, in a sense, where, like, if they had gotten somebody else to play Doctor Strange, I wonder if we would have gotten
Robert Downey Jr.
Like back in the days, like if Doctor Strange had been made 10 years ago, a little closer to, let's say, Iron Man or something like that. If we might have gotten some other version of him, which had a little bit more, not necessarily personality,
we would probably gotten Val Kilmer.
If we would have gotten Steven Seagal, we would have gotten somebody with our character written with more, with a different kind of or different level of punchy lines or humor.
Abracadabra.
Cadabra. Spooky wookie. So there's a lot of cool shit. I don't know how much we really want to get into giving away spoilers. We probably shouldn't go too crazy spoilers because I feel like that'll just kind of... Because here's the thing. I feel like with this movie, a lot of it relies on the effects and the coolness of them. And so to give away what kind of... Obviously, to even try to explain like the cool shit, like verbally, it could be a little bit of a challenge on its own.
No.
How do I explain these things twisting around MC Escher style besides
that's it.
You know what I mean?
That's all you
exactly.
do. MC Escher, look up MC Escher and...
picture that kaleidoscope.
And for the same kind of idea, maybe Salvador Dali.
Yeah, which is, reading some interviews, that's another influence they had.
Or Van Gogh.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, some of that.
There's a lot of...
There's a lot of...
I thought I saw Van Gogh in the in Dormammu's world.
You got a lot of that.
Visually.
Yeah, I
definitely got Steve Ditko's art represented on that.
Yeah.
It's there. It's not a shot-for-shot representation of it, but that whole kind of netherworld dimension is fully represented there. Ditko's artwork.
Yeah, I was very pleased with the way that they were able to get so much of this stuff in, because it can feel thick.
Yeah.
With all these layers of the multiverse and everything that we see, because we see at least 3-4 different multiverses. At least, right?
Well, the dimensions, different places, different planes.
Let's call it the glass one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You see the
they call it the mirror.
Yeah, the mirror dimension.
We'll drop that. They call it. There's a mirror universe, which is very crystalline.
It's basically a
you
battle
see it real
arena.
quick.
It's a battle arena that looks like everything that it goes on around us.
Fair enough. Sure.
Wherever we are at that moment, you open the...
And it seems like even when they're fighting in all of the craziness that you see in the commercials of the folding buildings and all of that stuff, that it's happening in a way that once it's over, like regular people, I guess, don't see it. They don't notice it, or they just happen to not be able to visualize it like we do.
Most of it's happening in the mirror universe. At the time.
I guess.
Right. The big one is because of the mirror universe. His powers get magnified. Remember?
Was that a thing? I can't recall that.
Yeah. Well, it was more like when
Doctor Strange thinks he's real smart by opening up the mirror universe so that they don't ruin Lower Manhattan.
Right. Okay.
And then he finds out after the fact that but it makes his powers like it magnifies them. So
okay. All right.
So
fair
oops.
Enough. Right. Yes. Okay. Okay. That's coming back to me now.
Right.
Sure.
And that's how he had the ability to basically warp all of Manhattan.
Yeah.
All right. I also think there's the villain in here. Mads Mikkelsen is a great actor.
Yeah.
And I do think he's kind of wasted here.
He's just not used enough. He hits. Yeah. There's enough of him in there.
Yeah. And as great as the show don't tell stuff is for the rest of the movie, I think all of his development happens when he's not on screen.
That's the thing.
It's it's another thing where just someone else is explaining to Strange who he is. And I think they could have come up with a more cinematic way of doing that.
They could have brought in Batman. You don't understand, guys.
It's the wrong kind of cinema.
Yeah.
I think they could have given him definitely some other element of seeing him back in the day.
Yeah.
Seeing him before all this.
Or just
because we kind of come into, as far as his character goes, we don't see any kind of path. We kind of, like you were saying, we kind of come in late with him.
Yeah,
he's already bad guy status, basically.
And like, how is he able to pull these disciples away from the Ancient One?
Well, that's the thing.
Like, how does he develop his following?
And I think obviously in the pursuit of keeping it streamlined, because it does run tight and it does feel very. It doesn't have any moments where it's like, oh, okay, this is obviously slow before the storm. It just keeps moving, which is really great. Like when it was over, I was like, what time is it? I wasn't used to a Marvel movie, I guess, coming in. What's the runtime on this?
Yeah, the pacing stepped up continually.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the magnitude of the visual stepped up continually right to the end. So there was no real lag and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I liked it too that there was enough. They took advantage of the fact that it's different dimensions, it's different kind of looks, as opposed to maybe getting stuck on what you see in the trailer, which is just the building kaleidoscopy effect, building folding, Inception-y thing.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just that there was more than that there were other elements, there were other places visually that they went to, that they mixed that up. I was worried that they weren't going to enough.
Yeah.
But they took well advantage of it. I think the thing with Cumberbatch, I wonder, he's perfect for it and all that. I don't know if somebody else would have elevated the performance anymore, because I don't know if there was that much room to really bring it up anywhere anyway.
I mean,
is he just serviceable?
Too regal almost.
Yeah.
When you try and do something
out of the...
I could see that. That was a worry of mine, too.
Out of the three names that were swirling around, I think he was probably the best pick.
Do you recall the other two at all?
It was Joaquin Phoenix and Jared Leto. Leto took the Joker over this.
Yeah. Good call. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Jared.
Yeah. And I think Ewan McGregor was also in the mix at one point. But
he just likes cloaks.
Yeah,
I think he just likes like wintry outfits, like very layered, rattered tag.
Although I'm surprised he hasn't done a superhero movie. Ewan McGregor.
Well, he's so tied into Star Wars, though.
Yeah, you know what? And maybe it's just a matter of I don't know what's going to come his way. Like
I don't know.
Like I don't know what he fits.
Stock in 2 smoking barrels.
2.
He's doing Trainspotting 2.
I mean, it's Trainspotting 2, but that's what I mean. Like outside of. Like superhero wise,
yeah,
because that was the question you asked, Bob. You know what I mean? Like, what does he really line up against? He might have been an interesting Matt Murdock, but outside of that, maybe.
Well, I'm not necessarily a superhero, but just playing something in that world.
Foggy Nelson,
still the same. Still the same question in a way. Where it's like, I wonder what he would have lined up well with.
He could have been a villain or something like that.
Put it in an email, kids.
Kilgrave.
Yep.
Yeah. Just running on accents. It's good enough. He would. Yeah, he'd make a good villain, probably.
Yeah,
there's a potential for that.
If we can't think of a good guy, I think we can think of a bad guy.
Yeah, bad guys might be easier to cast for some reason.
Well, the tendency now is to basically cast British guys as bad guys in movies.
Well, now there's a tendency to cast British guys as everybody.
Yeah.
If you're an American, you're fucked. American movies don't want Americans. All right. So back to Doctor Strange. So I feel like, Yeah, if you know the books, if you know the stuff, it's not going to be anything that's like, wow, didn't see that coming in a way. Because if you know him, all his basic stuff is right there before you. It's a very Marvel has locked down the origin movie formula.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think with this one, this is supposed to be like the last hurrah of the straightforward origin stuff.
Yeah.
At this point,
you kind of have to do one with this character because of the magic.
Yeah, to really establish how the magic is different here.
The other guys, oh, he's a superhero. I think that's kind of enough because there's a general idea of what a superhero is.
Yeah,
and then you see what that superhero can do, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and what's nice too is because this is about a guy. It's if he wasn't a Marvel character, he could still just be magic dude, from a book series or something else. He is wholly independent. He doesn't have any of those classic superhero trappings, you know what I mean, in a way. And another thing, didn't even realize it till I read about it, but there's no guns in this movie.
No, there's not.
There's not a single gun in the movie.
Right.
And one of the things that they did, not to give it away or get too long-winded about it in any way, but the reason why they kind of did what they did with the ending is in response in a way to these big bombastic endings where everything gets destroyed. It was a way of you'll put this together in your own heads because you know how it ended, but it was a way of kind of doing the opposite of that, let's say.
Right.
Yeah.
Something that's a variation on everything gets fucking destroyed at the end of these Marvel movies, So it was like, well, how can we play with that? Right. And they did. They ended up doing something very kind of original and different that I haven't seen done before, I will say. At the end there.
Right.
Now,
with the big set piece.
Question in general about this movie. Do you think this movie can be described as a Harry Potter movie where he starts learning magic at 35 instead of 11?
No.
Isn't that what this was?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
What was the question? How did you phrase it? I'm sorry?
Would you describe this movie as Harry Potter, except he starts learning magic at 35 instead of 11?
Yeah, basically.
At first I said no, but now I'm thinking about it. And,
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. The academy is just not in the middle of England. It's up in the mountains. Of,
And a lot of this is it's a coming of age school movie. It's him learning.
He's growing. He's becoming a grown up finally too. He's
learned
learning
how to shave in this movie.
He learned how to shave.
Yeah.
He learned how to.
It's kind of like a sports movie, except instead of a training montage, we see him reading books.
Right. It's Rudy meets Goodwill Hunting meets Harry Potter. Okay, I'll go there. I think it's a thing where, it's obviously it's a little convenient. I've always been really good at learning. Well, that's good because we need to move this story along and keep this under an hour and a half plus. So there's that. The convenient, I've got a photographic memory. That's how I got through medical school so quick. And it's like, okay.
That's how he got his MD and PhD at the same time.
Oh, yeah, because even having that kind of a didactic memory is that helpful with that, carrying that workload. Yeah, I'm sure that makes a difference. You can double up. Yeah, okay. I think what's strange is this bullshit he's selling me on this. So really good performances all around. McAdams is really good in it. She doesn't get enough, but she's good.
Yeah.
She's really good in it. I like her in anything. What's her name?
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton. Nails it. She's got some of the. She is the second heavy lifter in this movie. She might even do more heavy lifting than. Her first scene. She's got to sell more. I think what he's got to sell is the wonderment, the whole, what is this? Oh, tell me, I want to learn.
Teach me.
It's Daniel's son, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And she's doing Mystic Miyagi at and so I think she has to sell more believability.
But she's funny. She has some great...
She's got some great lines.
Yeah.
She's got some great lines.
Yeah.
She's got some great action sequences.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't tell how much of that is her, but I mean, these set pieces, she's up in the middle of a couple of them. You know what I mean? She has to deliver some of these good.
She has a very strong character.
Very strong, very strong. She sells it.
Yeah, and we won't spoil this, but I will say they set up for a very interesting villain if they do a sequel.
Yeah. They put enough play into motion on a few fronts, on a couple of fronts. Stuff that won't come too much of a surprise if you know the characters from the book, but they handle
That's
it
a good
well.
way of putting it. I was just trying to figure out a way to say that without giving it away.
You know, if you know his Doctor Strange from the book, you'll see a couple people and be like, oh, okay. But I feel like one of the things they'd left out too, which will be a thing to play with, is unlike Harry Potter, and they play around with this a lot right now in the comic for Doctor Strange, is the bargain that they don't get into here as much. They mention it. I think they left it open where, you know, for all the magic that's good, there's dark, and to use magic, you have to barter out a part of yourself. Basically, I think is the loose.
There's a price for everything that you do.
Right.
know?
They don't really get into it too much here. They mention it. They say that in the phrasing like that.
Yeah, I think it has to do with your soul,
right.
so to speak, as well as like the good and the bad. So if you're using more good, then maybe you're not giving up your soul, or you're getting back.
Yeah,
a little.
It's this light magic.
It's almost like, because they're not really explaining it too much. That's almost like what you're getting the idea that it is. It's like there's a balance.
Light magic, dark magic, and I think in order to use it, because in the comic, what's going on now is it turns out like he's been like leveraging instead of it taking its toll directly on him. He's been kind of like stuffing it down into a hole,
like
into
some,
the basement.
Some mystical monster in the basement
that he's been.
He's actually basically been creating and filling with hate and pain for years.
Yeah. Jeez, sort of like a Dorian Gray type thing.
I guess
similar.
I guess. And one of the things we learned too in the book recently was kind of like, and also back at the temple, all of the students there would kind of like absorb some of the damage he would take in these big conflicts as a group, like on a astral and psychic plane kind of level. So like he could then survive these giant climactic fights with beings that are way too powerful for him to really survive from. It turns out, well, all this time
they've been backing him up.
Like they'll take the hit. Like they don't put power into him, but they take the hit and disperse it.
They can take they could absorb the punishment.
Yeah. So it was one of these things where like we were watching him now with this big fight, and like over in the temple, like all these people were getting all fucked up. Like they were starting to feel it now too. That's how big the fight was getting. Like so it'd be interesting to see if they pulled some of this, the current layers of the mythology, maybe into some of the Doctor Strange 2, more strange, much more stranger. The strangeness continues. What's
Dr. Stranger?
Dr. Stranger. Mr. Dr. Stranger. So what else can we say about this, boys?
Very, very good movie. A little formulaic now, but that's to be expected because it's an origin movie anyway. I'm giving it a solid 4 and don't want to say 4.5, but I don't want to say 4.
You could say 4.2.
That's what I'm thinking. 4.25.
4.25 is
some
good.
extra mustard.
Yeah, some extra mustard. Whatever your favorite condiment is, a little extra.
Four with a nice helping of sauerkraut.
Maybe in 3D it probably is a 4.5.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing, man.
We might have to go back and see it in the 3D.
It would be worth it, probably. IMAX all the way. IMAX would be totally worth it. If you were like, let's go IMAX, I'd say let's go now. Just because of just how crazy it's just the scope, the visual scope on so much of it. So look, you know where you're getting kind of going in. It's don't want to say it's formulaic really, but it's a solid origin movie. The character is he's good. He's straightforward. It's nothing revolutionary.
Cumberbatch does an excellent job.
Cumberbatch does an excellent job of what he's given. The movie is
once again, Marvel picks the right guy for the right role.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
4.25.
Okay, so you gave it 4.25.
I'm giving it 3.5.
3.5,
which is still a recommendation.
Yes.
I think it's good. I don't know if it's Marvel's best.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I said, I have some issues with the villain. And I think in terms of visual storytelling, it's great. The special effects were great.
Yeah.
And it's got a tight story behind it. Really, really good script and editing.
Yeah, all around. I think it hits every mark it wants to hit. I think the thing that obviously people will walk away with is, the visuals.
Right.
And that's only because Doctor Strange at his core isn't a character who's in himself a little bit larger than life.
Yeah.
Most Marvel characters are just a little bit larger than life. Like Steve Rogers, his charm comes from his ultra rigid fourth righteousness. You know what I mean? Tony's thing comes from his quippy nature. Spider-Man's thing is his quippy nature. You know what I mean? Strange is kind of a guy who's just about level.
Yeah.
So you can kind of come away with feeling maybe like he didn't wow me. Like the character himself maybe didn't wow.
Yeah, and the ending to this, like it's not this big righteous fight. It's more of like all right.
It's a climax that's kind of an anticlimax.
Yeah.
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 And it doesn't feel like it took away. Like sometimes anticlimax will feel like they pulled the rug out of the ending.
No, it feels like there was a solid ending.
Yeah, yeah. It's a well done anticlimactic
There was no 50 million pounds of TNT involved in the ending.
Right, which is nice. Yeah. Which is a nice change up. Which is totally thing. And that's what I think.
It's almost like more of a TV mechanic.
Right. Okay.
If this story would have been done on TV as opposed to movies, they would have been more likely to choose this route.
Yeah, and it doesn't end necessarily in a direct confrontation. It ends sort of with a negotiation.
It ends with a conversation, let's say. And then...
here's the deal, buddy.
So, not to give them away, but there are 2 after-credit sequences. If you wanted to skip out on the second one at the end, you can. Basically, not as important to the grand scheme, I will say, as the first one.
One sets up what's happening next in the MCU,
yeah,
and the other one sets up what's happening next with Doctor Strange.
Fair enough. Yeah. And with that, I'd say I'll give it a solid 4. I kind of want to come in just under, but I won't tit for tat on the number. I'll just say it's a solid 4 because it's a solid movie. It's a solid movie.
Definitely.
Everything that they try to do, they achieve in that. There's nothing that I walk out of there going, well, that was a weird thing that stuck in my craw. Right. It was only afterwards that I found any kind of like, I had read some stuff and had other people point out small little plot holes. Yeah. And usually it's just about time. It's like, well, how is character A doing that? And then character B is doing that later kind of thing. And it's like, all right, they just kind of stretched it. But, so it's a full-on recommendation from here at the table. I think it's totally worth your time. I think if you're going to go see it, IMAX, 3D, those are probably, you might want to just cough up the extra couple of bucks.
Yeah, we're kind of feeling like we missed out a little bit.
A little bit.
Not doing that. So, definitely take that as go see it in 3D.
Yeah. And if you
whatever your choice is.
Yeah, and if you love this character in the comics, you will love this movie.
This is spot on for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was really anticipating this movie for a long time, and I came away feeling good about it.
Yeah.
No complaints.
I just wish there were other characters who could deliver on that promise.
Oh, you mean other companies?
In the DC universe.
just say it.
Well, they're starting to do a good job on TV.
Well, they're doing an incredible job on TV.
They're
doing an amazing job.
So hold
on
to that. Hold on to that until the good movies
I just don't understand
coming.
why the TV people can't talk to the movie people, or why they can't just fire the movie people and the TV people do everything.
Because it's not Marvel.
just saying. And the comics are getting really good too.
The comics are getting really good. You got a little bit Daffy Duck on that one there, buddy.
I'm loving that Rebirth. I'm all over that
You're
Rebirth.
all over the Rebirth, right? The DC Rebirth stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And your favorite character of all time is a DC character.
Yes.
Indeed, your favorite DC character of all time is indeed a DC character.
No,
that's how I said it.
I think so. I think
no. You said your favorite character.
Oh, he did. Okay, then I heard it wrong. I apologize. I'll make fun of you about something else in the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's got headphones on. He's hearing this through headphones.
There you go. I tried to apologize before you had a chance to throw me under the buses, but go for it. It's all fun and fair.
You're the youngest brother. You get thrown under the bus all the time.
It's true. It's true. Someone's got to save themselves. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what do we do around here around this point? I think I know what we do. It's been a while since we heard that one.
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to try and find a rhythm on that? Yeah. Bring it up a little bit for you. All right.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Oh, all right, kids, ladies and gentlemen. This is email section. If you want to send an email to the show, you can send it to podcast at wickedtheory.com. Let's see who we got in here. Oh, my gosh. This thing has come alive. Chad Rose was busy. I wonder if he just kept on sending the same one over and over.
Hey, Chad. Is that the Chad in the chat right now?
Yeah, it's Chad NV. Chad Rose.
Yeah, she's in the chat right now.
I got envy for him.
Yeah, and he wants you to he says you got to offer that email drop up as a ringtone.
Oh, do I? It's kind of a weird ringtone. I mean, I get it that it's groovy, maybe.
No, but you could still use it as a notification for your email.
For your emails. What was I thinking? Yeah,
there you go.
I was thinking you just have it as a ringtone, like the moron I am. Okay.
Or you could just
I still go looking for. You've got mail.
Because it's retro. It's like nostalgic.
Yeah, or you could just change it to phone call. You know,
right. All right. So his first email, he sent a bunch on Thursday, it looks like, is, hey, who was afraid of Y2K? Back in the days, was anybody worried at the time?
I think anyone who worked at a video store.
Were you worried just about the influx of Y2K-based movies? Well, I don't understand. Like, what
no, just like, is that just going to screw up everyone's late fees? What's...
Okay, now I get it. Is it going to ruin the whole process?
Because they were not up with the times. They didn't make the software switch that they had to.
Not at the mom and pop shops.
No,
they'd be lucky to have a computer inventory.
Yeah, I mean Blockbuster maybe. Palmer Video.
Yeah, that was a rough one. That store.
I grew up across the street from a Palmer Video, which I think it explains my sense and taste in pop culture.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get it now. It all makes sense. It all makes sense.
Yeah, we used to favor the local one and get all the wonderfully cheap horror movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Faces of Death.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Trauma. Anything with trauma on the back of the cover.
Yeah,
that was a good time.
So Y2K though, I remember that being a big thing. It did have a lot of people up in a tizzy. I don't know if I was really.
There was a couple of stars, like former NSYNC, somebody who was in NSYNC or one of those bands with his wife. They really thought the world was going to end, and so they were prepped. They spent all their money.
Yeah, did they? Oh shit! Okay.
I was reading something online.
They took a bad investment on the Y2K prep.
Like, the whole world's going to come to end, babe, so we might as well just spend everything now. And they bought
Joey Fatone
tons of crap. All vanity stuff, and now they're broke.
Just like the whole theory behind it, like that one mistake.
Well, you would think
that we figured out 2 years ahead of time.
Fair enough. Don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, everybody was catching it and fixing and anticipating it. So
yeah, like that was the whole premise of Office Space.
It's a .0001. I mean, why? How could that possibly add up? But it does stand to reason that you would think that would be the irony. I think that's why it was easily sold, because the irony of it all, this super complicated system brought down by the tiniest of, didn't think of that when we built it way back in the old days. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's in every movie, it's always some secret back door that lets us bring down the system. You know what I mean? It's always that stupid
tic-tac-toe.
It's always the design flaw in the Death Star type thing. Like, you know what I mean? So this was the Achilles heel.
And the lasers that actually can go down a hole.
Yeah, that right angle lasers. If he at least had said activating targeted lasers or something, like, but they actually, you're right. They go straight down. Just leave it laying around. Just leave it on the table. We'll take care of it. So there's that one. I do remember everybody freaking out. I was a little worried. I kind of do remember thinking that, like, everybody thinks everything's going to get glitch. I kind of thought some things would. Yeah. But, like, really nothing did, I don't think, in the end.
Yeah, I was waiting for cash register at Sears to glitch.
Yeah, I was going to go hang around ATM machines and just wait for them to start spitting out cash, like in Maximum Overdrive.
But somehow the people at Sears are still using those computers that are pre-1996.
They're still using the DOS startup screen looking.
Yeah. When you pay by check, they still have to put it in that slot that pulls it through so we can read it and print out the thing on it.
It does, like the little print off on it, right? So Chad's got another one in here, and he says, Have you taken a bad review to a movie seriously? If most are good, have you taken a bad review?
Well, I've given a bad review that someone took seriously.
Have you taken a bad review to a movie seriously? If most are good, I'm really feeling like this is badly phrased.
I think what he's trying to say is, have you ever seen a movie that everyone loved, but there's one critic that hates it, and then you actually, took that to heart? Like, that one person is right. Like, did you take?
Okay, I guess you're like,
take that one reviewer more seriously than the love fest that's going around.
I don't know if that's ever been the case for me. I do know I've had the opposite happen where I've read like kind of like a down point review, but seeing that more reviews were up, and then didn't really kind of give that review too much weight.
Yeah,
as feeling like he's in the minority, so he might have valid points, but I'm not really chalking it up to as that's the guy. I never really kind of chalk it up to any of them as being spot on because it's all subjective.
Yeah. All I know about this subject is that I'm now lost because I don't have Siskel and Ebert anymore. They both did.
If I don't have two people arguing it, then I don't know how to make up my mind.
Yeah,
I need the thumbs up, thumbs down.
I keep it simple, people.
Yeah,
these stars and these tacos, I don't get it. I feel like my thing was to read the two, because I used to read the Post and the Daily News every day. So I compare their reviews, in a sense, because it seemed like they never really agreed.
And what's funny is they were always both wrong.
Generally speaking, if you read the review, like the number might be right, like the rating, but the review is generally like it's just written like people from New York even write like jerk offs. It's like I just want to get to the review. Can you just review the movie and not tell me why you don't like this person as a celebrity? Can we just get through that? Like, can you not bring that to the table?
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like, when you read reviews or when I read reviews, I'm just seeing what is this person looking at? I don't even like if they're faulting this, what are they faulting it for? And like what kind of a scale are they going off of? Because everyone's looking for different things when they're watching movies.
Well, that's the thing,
Yeah, that's true. We also got to look out for the people who just write a review for a movie so that they can hopefully be like pulled and put into the promo.
Yeah. A lot of times, like you can spot those right away. Where like, oh, you're hoping that gets a pull. You're hoping that's a pull quote. You know what I mean? Some of these lines are just too well written.
I remember reading a lot of reviews for Sully when it came out.
Feel good movie of the summer, Sully.
But a lot of there were a couple of reviewers I remember who basically went out and said, I don't like Clint Eastwood movies because this happens, and then they're looking for those things and say, oh, he does this like he always does, and I hate those movies, so that's why I hate this movie.
It's so it's that
if
that
you
wash.
weren't looking for that, would you have seen that? And
it's that same kind of thing. Not actually looking. Does this work as a piece of art, or as a piece of entertainment? Which are two different things, by the way.
All right, so Chad's next one. He says, you guys turned me on to Black Mirror. I'm going to have to recall here, because he goes, in the episode, Be Right Back. The tech for phone calls to a dead person, given access for all your data, is quite feasible with today's tech. Too freaky for acceptance, or do you think we'll get there? So basically, that that people would be able to have access to all of your data. I don't really remember exactly how it worked in the episode. It's been a while. He's talking earlier season stuff, I think, if I remember correctly. Or is that in the new seasons?
Be Right Back is season 2, episode 1.
Okay. Not that really helps me.
That's the one with Haley Atwell and Donald Gleason.
Oh, okay. Actually, when I finished out the new season, that one, it kicked off with that one. And I do kind of remember that. If we're going by the picture that the show painted, like, let's not fucking do that. Like, I don't recall it going very well for her. She has a rough go of it. But basically, it's the idea that everything that was about him and it's now at a point where it's so much data that she was able to create like an online persona for him that would feel like he was still around and still alive. Right. And it got to be a thing where it's like, in the end, not the best idea, but I think we'll get there. I think it'll be a thing where like, hey, you can have I can have your ashes crushed into a diamond. You know what I mean? Like, people will just find a way to just do that stuff, to get some kind of closeness to that. How many people will actually take part in it is a whole other question. Mm-hmm. I think somebody will probably be able to make that service available. How many people will take part in it because it'll just be too creepy? Because you can do that shit now. Like, right now, you can kind of set up some of your social media accounts like to post after you're dead. Like, for you. Like,
yeah, I've heard that.
And as much as that might be a hoot, like, I might get a kick out of that. Like, a year after I'm gone, all of a sudden I put up a couple of Facebook posts that are, like, innocuous.
Yeah.
Like, not like, hey, I miss everybody. I just put up something like, today was a pretty good day. And people would be like, wait a minute, I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead. You know what I mean? And then, like, 3 hours later, put up, I just came with you. I'm dead still. It's just messing with you from the afterlife. Don't mind me. Just a ghost post.
Sons of bitches.
All right, that's it. Ghostpost.com. Let's set it up. $1 million idea. Get the domain, ghostpost.com. Let's make sure that's available. And start setting it up now. Social media for the afterlife. It's taken.
It's coming soon.
Of course it is.
It's hosted by Direct Nick.
Oh, that guy. I don't know if I should recognize Direct Nick. But, dang it, there goes another $1 million idea. All right.
And there'll be like little pop-ups with like Rod Serling's head.
All right, so Chad's got another one. He's like, he leads off with this one in parentheses. He's like, you can stagger these over a couple of episodes if you have a slow mail week. Nope. Not
it's
doing
a slow
that.
show week. That's what it is.
Really. So he says, hey, I broke my hand near the wrist last week. Basically karate chopped the support beam.
Let me just stop you right there.
Yeah.
Chad, fap slower.
Well, if you hadn't cut me off.
Switch hands.
So broke my hand near the wrist last week. Basically karate chopped a support beam. Beam 1, Chadwick 0. Who amongst has broken something and how? I'll knock on wood. I don't think I've ever broken a bone. I think I might have broken a bone in my hand once, but I never had it reset. I punched a wall like a jerk and hit a beam. Doesn't bother me in the winter yet, so I'm good. But other than that, I never really broke anything.
I broke my foot.
No, I've never broken anything either.
Right.
So Bob, take it away.
How'd you break your foot, Bob?
In high school.
Kicking ass?
In the gym.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was not kicking ass. We were playing volleyball in the bleachers, those retractable bleachers.
Oh, yeah.
They were closed. The ball went up on top of them.
Sure.
So I went up to get it.
Right.
So I climbed up, holding on one hand, and I grabbed the ball and I tossed it back over my head.
Sure.
It bounced and landed under my feet as I dropped down.
Oh no! So you didn't see it,
and my foot just like snapped.
So it was your foot, not your ankle?
It was one of the bones of my foot.
Nice, way to go.
Yeah, so this was right before Christmas one year.
So how much school did you miss for that?
Not
much. None. Just the rest of that day, I guess.
Just the rest of that day.
Sons of bitches.
The next day I went to school. I asked the girl to be my girlfriend. She was like, "Yeah," because she felt bad. gotta milk it while you got it, man. Absolutely.
If you're getting some attention,
absolutely.
If she's signing the cast, it's like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If my toe's not freaking you out, you want to hang out?
Yeah.
But all right.
I broke someone else's arm once. Does that count?
Well, that's as close as you get. Let's hear the story real quick.
Oh, this is a schoolyard fight in the 5th grade.
Nice, way to go, Ed.
Yeah,
way to go.
Yeah, playing football. Someone. I don't even remember how it started. It was
football fights is somebody just being too rough.
Yeah. But it was like a personal, just kind of like.
You didn't like him. He didn't like you.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, and I pushed him and he fell wrong. Oh. It was like I pushed him and he reached back and just
tried to brace himself from behind and snapped his own arm.
And
basically.
He didn't find out it was broken till like the next day or something.
It's because he's a moron.
But But his mom was the yard mother.
Yard mother.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were on a plantation. Go on.
Well, you know, it's
it's school.
This is a Catholic grammar school, my friends.
Yeah, it's one of that going on. Fair enough.
But no. So basically, she comes over to break up the fight and everything else, and you know who started it. And of course, even though he started it, everyone else, I'm not crossing her. Ed started it. Like, you lying sons of bitches. Of course, using profanity didn't help.
I saw Thomas K says basically, he says, Ed fight is just a debate. All right. So you
Oh, Courtney thinks I'm a ninja.
Well, let's not get crazy. All right, let's not.
Actually, as
a matter of fact,
I have been called the fat ninja.
All right, I'm not saying anything. I'm leaving that alone.
Mm-hmm. I am known to sneak up on people who aren't expecting it.
Not peripherally, I guess.
Accidentally, actually.
I would think yes. I'm very accidentally.
I'm the person who will tap you on the shoulder when you don't know I'm in the room.
Right, and I get
people
the
go
high
like,
pitch.
"Oh my God, it's Ed!"
Shit. Hey, how you doing? All right. So let's go on. Chad's got one more. The subject line is question. Then he says, "Not really. Just want to say I saw a picture of Mr. Sweeney and it was adorbs. The haters gonna hate. Thanks, I guess."
So he saw a picture of our father online.
Yeah, he saw a picture of dear old dad.
Yeah.
I guess
Mr. Sweeney.
Mr. Sweeney. Yeah. If you see any pictures of me, let me know what you think. Sorry about if your lunch gets a little starts to do a tremor.
Yeah, sorry he's old now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But thanks for that. So there's some junk mail in there. We'll skip over that. And then we got a good mail. Not him. Steph mail, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard her before. Stephanie Muniz. Steph mail.
Sammy.
Steph from the Gotham Lights podcast.
A lot for her to talk about on that podcast lately.
Yeah, it's getting crazy on that show.
Oh man,
they don't know where to go right now with the podcast.
Just,
probably like it's just where that's crazy on top of crazy.
This whole Penguin Riddler arc is just.
Is it good? It's crazy, obviously.
It's hard to tell by these excited faces that you're giving us.
Okay, yeah. Here's the story. Evidently, Oswald
Cobblepot,
yes, has come to the conclusion that he is now in love with Ed Nigma. And
you know what's funny is I thought I
saw
that, and I was like, I just probably read that wrong.
Yeah.
I probably just read that headline wrong.
Yeah, because you're
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like
he's trying to figure out how to tell him.
Wow.
But then in the last episode, Ed has found a woman named Isabella who looks exactly like Kristen Kringle.
Okay, right. I did tune in for that where they run into each other.
Ed has fallen in love with this woman after only knowing her a day.
So is Penguin's rage and all this going to come from some unrequited man crush, gay crush?
Well, that's the situation as it stands right now. That's everything I've told you. That's where we are.
Are people up in arms? I mean, if the show is breaking continuity before.
Yeah. I mean,
see, I thought he waddled like that because it was a penguin thing. I didn't know it's because his culito was sore. I didn't know it was because his little dingadoo in his bungie hole. So,
yeah.
Are you shipping them? Is that what you do you want a little Penguin Ed?
No.
Tumblr must be loving this.
No,
this must be the rage on Tumblr.
And this is just
the yaoi girls would be going crazy.
Whoa.
This is just the purist in me.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like I don't know where this is going. I mean, this is the kind of thing like we've been reading too much fan mail.
I think definitely the thing where they were like, well, what's drugs?
Yeah, and this is the problem when you're beholden to continuity, is you have characters who might feel like they're going this place naturally, but
well, what I'm thinking is the thing where, because here's the thing, is that you're going to kind of like open a door with a certain kind of audience that's like, oh, okay, like I'm open to that because I'm very open to those things, or I'm gay myself, and that's a cool way to kind of put a twist on it.
Yeah.
But then if it doesn't go anywhere because they choose not to go down that road, then it smacks of, well, you guys just set up that storyline to kind of do it. You were never really going to do it, and which is not for nothing a problem in comics anyway.
Yeah.
Of setting up things to never really do them anyway.
Yeah.
But
and the way this stands for me, the way I'm reading this, it's not necessarily that Oswald's gay. I think it's just he just wants love from somewhere in any direction. Some
kind of intense obsession, man-crushing kind of thing, maybe?
And he sees that something could work out there. And now the fact that it's not going to is just going to get,
Yeah, I think the producers were literally like, how do we make this the most furthest from... like, what's the craziest thing we could do to put this so far away from continuity?
Plus it's also like, Oswald just became the mayor, and Ed's
he's got a lot to do. Maybe it's
staff.
stress.
But like things are working out for both of these guys, and we've got to find a way to throw a fly in the ointment. We've got to...
That's some fly.
Yeah.
That's some fly. So let's get into Steph's email. Mm-hmm. She says, as usual... Hey, you guys.
Hey.
I just went to see Doctor Strange last night. Thanks for recommending to go see it in 3D. Totally worth it. The movie was awesome. I'm busy working on my spoiler-free review as we speak. That's going to be for her blog, From Brain to Keyboard. Now, as we're all familiar...
Clever name, too.
It is. As we're all familiar, there are always trailers for upcoming movies before the movie you want to see. And there were a lot of good trailers, many of which I had already seen of movies that I'm already interested in. So my question is, are there any other movies that you guys are interested in seeing this year besides Rogue One, or are you rather looking forward to the movies coming up next year? So I guess whatever's still on the docket for this year is her question.
What's left?
Well, actually...
As far as big stuff...
I have a list.
I'll tell you off the top of my head, I do want to see Arrival.
Looks like an Excel spreadsheet.
Yes.
Yeah, Ed doesn't fuck around. I've learned that Ed does not fuck around, and this has been going on for a long time. It predates his work here. But Arrival looks really good. I'm really interested in seeing that. Off the top of my head, I know there's a couple more. I just can't recall names of stuff. So hit me with a few that you think
well, I could tell you
fit the wheelhouse of the show.
For what's left in this in November, fits this show. I don't know. There are movies I want to see, like Nocturnal Animals.
Sure. Okay.
Edge of 17 looks interesting. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. That's a
people like
movie.
that. That's a nerd movie. Not for me, but
Rules Don't Apply. Which I see, like
which one is that?
That's the one where Warren Beatty's playing Howard Hughes.
Yeah,
and all it like the Alden Ehrenreich stuff looks really interesting, and the Warren Beatty stuff looks horrible.
Yeah, that's rough. And then people were kind of like pushing the trailer, like, "Oh, look at him be campy and funny."
Well, like
in his comedic thing, I'm like, that's what they're going for.
Evidently,
I don't know if it's landing.
Yeah, well, evidently Warren Beatty has been trying to get this movie made for like the last 2 decades.
Obviously, because he hasn't done anything else. And maybe because it's taken 2 decades, Warren.
Yeah,
it may not be the great thing you think it is.
Well,
just saying.
Wasn't the last thing like Ishtar?
I mean, it's. I think the last thing I really remember him being in was Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Like really, like I know that he did more after that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, that's just all that I can think of.
Heaven can wait too.
Oh, it's still waiting.
Well, that's what.
Heaven's like, come on.
That's what it would be.
Heaven's like, die already. No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah, I mean, for like coming around Christmas, we've got Rogue One, we've got Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed
looks really good.
Looks really good. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's a sleeper.
Yeah. I think Assassin's Creed is going to be a sleeper as far as it has the potential to be the sleeper as far as reviews goes. I think it's going to find its audience pretty easily. I think there's a big enough fan base
kind of
and it looks good.
Thing.
But I think all of a sudden, like the reviewers are going to sleep on it and then see it and be like, "Wow, this was actually holds up."
And the movie that is sneaking in, it's doing an Oscar qualifying run on New Year's Eve, but it's really more of a January movie. Is The Founder.
Oh, Michael Keaton as
Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's.
That looks great.
Actually, no. Okay. I'm sorry. He's the founder of the McDonald's Corporation.
Right. He basically
which is a very different thing.
He takes over.
And this movie was supposed to come out in August.
Yeah, and they pushed it, right?
But there's only been one trailer, and it came out like 10 months ago.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible trailer.
It's still it's still really good. I mean. And it's getting early. It's getting its circuit buzz.
I think they moved it to December because they actually think it could be an Oscar contender for Keaton.
It probably can. Mm-hmm. At the very least, that's the place to get to help it get more buzz to keep it out for that.
And it won't hurt that his role in Spider-Man either coming up.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. This is right on the cusp. That's in December.
It's December 31st. It's getting a limited release, and then it's going to go wide in January.
It goes wide for the new year. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's those are like that's everything that you've got written down there.
I mean, because I haven't updated my spreadsheet for December, so that
I'm saying, but other than that, you're not skipping over anything in particular.
No.
Okay.
No. Mona. Sorry.
Oh, Mona. Well, enjoy. I will not accept a review from you for Mona. By the way, I'm just letting you know.
Fine,
All right, fine, whatever.
I'll just, maybe a certain relative of yours will write a review for Palmer's blog. Just saying.
Okay. All right. I think I know of whom you speak.
Yes.
Who I can't wait for him to make his actual debut on the 30 Days of Podcasting. And I get to start to link to that episode. So yeah, hey, so if I'll let him know, if Uncle Vito wants to start writing reviews for Palmer's blog. Well, maybe Uncle Vito should write it for our blog for
the Wicked Theory blog.
For the Wicked Theory podcast. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll you go over there.
You think maybe Uncle Vito should have his own Twitter account?
It might end up there. It might end up there. We'll see how.
Let's see if Uncle Vito
can have his own page too.
Maybe he turns into the next Film Crit Hulk.
That's what I'm wondering. Let's see how big this guy gets.
Yeah.
All right. Agent Palmer is up next in the queue. All right, so he writes, it's a Palmer mail. He's self-branding right there.
Sounds like he's branding it as a that kind of Palmer.
Oh, okay.
A Harry Palmer.
There you go. Hey, well, he'll be happy to know.
Wow, all right.
What do you think of? It's either somebody's last name or they're palming something.
Well, you know what? Here's a little bit for Palmer. Doctor Strange has the character in there as a Dr. Palmer.
Yes.
So so he might be able to pull some audio clips.
Yeah, I was
from
actually
that
waiting for because at one point don't they call him on the PA?
Yeah, her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for Harry Palmer. Dr. Harry
something. Just something.
Just waiting. Harriet Palmer.
Palmer, we need you out there, or just something vague enough,
Palmer, can you give us a hand?
So his question is, what superhero costume would best be adapted to a football uniform, and what would be on the helmet?
Batman.
Yeah, pretty much probably anything with just a big symbol.
Yeah,
Superman
with an emblem.
Yeah, Although there is the whole thing with football having the number on the front and back.
Well, because football you got the shoulder pads. So I'm thinking something from the Liefeld era. From the Liefeld era.
From the Liefeld era.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking Wolverine, the yellow costume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? That's got enough.
Shoulder pads.
It's got enough going on with like the stripes and stuff on the sides. Right. It looks kind of like too busy, like some football uniforms are.
It's kind of like two colors.
Yeah, that's not a bad color. I was gonna say immediately, like I just see like the Punisher black and white. You know what I mean?
Well,
kind of a thing.
That's the Raiders.
Yeah, because it's like the Raiders.
The Raiders.
It's very simple like that. I think though.
It's like the only Chris Berman I could do. Raiders.
All right. Who's Chris Berman?
Nobody circles the wagons.
That's from ESPN, Bill.
Oh, okay. So that's
a sports network.
Right. Yeah. That's a. not a
He's
thing
allergic
I
to that
know.
word. Yeah. And anything that goes with it.
No, anything. I
Guys
like hot dogs and
Guys got like 12
Cracker Jacks.
catchphrases.
Oh, okay, just 12.
Yeah.
Because one
that's-
wasn't enough.
Could go all the way.
No, my favorite's when he
That
does,
guy.
when he does the home run derby, and every single one, and there's like 100 in the course of the night. Is back, gone.
I think I would lose my shit after a while if I had to share the booth with him. What's his name? Chris? It's Chris Berman?
Chris Berman.
I'm like, Chris,
He's been
go
doing
fuck
this
yourself.
since the very beginning of ESPN.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm like, Chris, you've been doing it. Move on.
When he dies, they're
Fucking
going to
move
leave
on.
his skeleton sitting in that seat.
Just put him in a glass booth.
There you go.
And just hermetically seal it.
Like Nixon on Futurama.
Futurama.
Yeah, he is.
I'm picturing more like the mummies, like in the museum.
Right.
They're just in a glass case and it's all shriveled. But he's still in a three-piece suit.
Stalin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
right.
what's funny is he has a segment every Saturday night before the big games on Sunday on SportsCenter called the 2-minute drill.
Okay.
Yet somehow it's always long enough that there's a commercial break in the middle.
Well,
of it.
you got to do
Yeah.
it.
It's 2 minutes at a time about two things at once.
The 2-minute drill always lasts 20
Because
minutes.
he could go all the way. All right, so what the hell were we talking
We
about
were
now?
talking about football. Football uniforms based on superhero. I think it basically goes like that, though. Pretty much, you can't make the logo too big as it usually is on it. Like, you can't do Superman because then where are you going to put the numbers? You can do it, just not as big. The diamond, not as big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I actually see a great way graphically you could do it. Never mind, but that's let's not get into all that. But yeah, most of them are duotoned or monochromatic enough where it's like it all works. But I would watch the Punishers. I think that's a New York City team. That's an arena football team. I think we should have.
The Iron Men would look cool. A lot of Marvel characters too.
Yeah. The Blue Beetles. I think they play out of Michigan.
I mean, Captain America basically wears a Patriots uniform.
Yeah, basically. Or basically the Patriots are wearing a Captain America uniform.
Yeah.
I think there's a lawsuit coming. All right.
Yeah, but don't ever let Tom Brady wear a Captain America uniform and let me see it.
You guys are just all in denial of how much you love him. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's definitely going to wrap up the emails. And I think that is going to really kind of wrap up this portion of the show. This is the main portion. And then we're going to go to a little bit of after hour, after show, whatnots and hootenannery, if that's a word.
We thought we were going to be late this week. We're at 2 hours 10 minutes.
I know.
So.
That's what I'm saying. Like, shit. Let's get out now while it getting's good. Yep. If it was ever any good. If you thought it was any good, let us know in an email. Send it to podcast@wickedtheory.com. So, I mean, we did hit it all, right? I mean, there's nothing else in the document, right? Why were they not able to authenticate the user?
No, there's nothing else in the document.
Okay. We didn't lose the internet, right?
No, I still got it.
Okay, good.
Well, I got the page we need for the after show, so we're good.
Well, that's not really my exact question. But
Sorry.
I'm trying to make sure we're online still.
Yeah, we're still streaming.
Okay, very good, very good. That was my issue. All right, so let's wrap this up and let's say, Ed, where can people find you on the interwebs?
I'm on Twitter at Edward O'Hare TBD.
At TBT, and you have a couple posts over at agentpalmer.com.
Yeah, I send a movie review there once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon. Bob, where can people find you on the web?
They can find me probably with their GPS. No.
Whoa, stalkers.
Yeah.
Stalkers, take note.
No, at Bob WTPC.
On the Twitters. And I'm over there, too. You can find the show at wickedtheory.com. You can find my account on Twitter at wickedtheory. And I think that's really going to be it. I really don't... Ed, we're done.
I think we're done.
Okay, Bob, hit it. Take us out of here whenever it feels real, baby.